This is the Citi Breakfast Show. My name is Nathan Quao, sitting in for Bernard Avle. It is a pleasure and an honor bringing you the biggest breakfast in town. So like we do every morning, please grab a seat, get comfortable, let's have breakfast. You are joining us on the number 0549986996. On Twitter at Citi973, hashtag CitiCBS. And if you're outside the country, or maybe you don't have a conventional radio set, then you are listening to us via citinewsroom.com. Start off with music from Dinah Hamilton and Nathan Quao. God is promising us endless blessings. He will bless our going out and our coming in. He will bless our food and water. He will bless our hustle. And He will bless us all the days of our life. Say amen. Wonderful song. We start off with our business sense. And that is proudly brought to us by ADB. If your salary goes through ADB, wonderful news. They've got the payday plus for you. Maybe something has popped up before payday and you need some cash to sort out those issues. Talk to ADB. You can get up to 10,000 cedis or 80% of your next net monthly salary. And there's no interest on repayments within 30 days and your money hits your account the same day. If this sounds like something you're interested in, I beg you, call Meredith on 0243-273-369 or now on 0244-284-197. ADB, truly a great and more. Our business sense today comes from Walter Lipman, who says the final test of a leader is that he leaves behind him in other men the conviction and the will to carry on. The final test of a leader is that he leaves behind him in other men the conviction and the will to carry on. So if you've gone through all the tests and assignments of a leader, the final thing is that all your team members, or you deposit the will and conviction to carry on, the will and conviction to move on with the vision, to keep executing, to keep doing excellent things even when you are not there. You won't be there forever. One day you will have to leave, either moving on to bigger things or even retiring. But at that point, when you are exiting, the final test, or what checks the last box of leadership, is that you've left behind men who have the conviction and the will to keep going. So as we start the year, let's think about it. If you are saying your final year of work, think about this important thing, leaving behind the will and conviction to carry on, the drive and the spirit of excellence that you instilled when you were there, or that your subordinates exhibited when you were there. If you want to remember it as a leader, or if you want to be remembered as a leader, what you do is to leave that in them so they keep going even when you are not there. Wonderful way to start a Wednesday morning, the 4th of January 2023. This is the Citi Breakfast Show. Coming up next is the newspaper review. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Please stay tuned. and awards they have picked up over the years are dedicated to their valued customers, and the promise is that they'll keep giving you innovative products and services that meet the needs and expectations of you. Yes, you, their cherished customer. Total Energy bringing us the newspaper review. The newspapers are returning gradually. Not everybody is back though. But the online portals are working. Let me welcome the guys, Richard Delaska and Godfred Akotoboafo. Somehow we all turned up wearing a shade of blue.
I know, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Blue's popular in this building.
Yeah, blue's a lovely color.
It's a very popular color among the men.
You know, and I love sea blue or sky blue.
I see.
Why would you love sky blue? Why would you love sky blue? You're wearing yourself.
Welcome to 2023.
Charlie, the 2023, this month, we are hoping for speed. Speed is all we ask for.
Thank you.
January should be bereft of its usual characteristics of 6 weeks, 99 days.
Nothing is happening.
Charlie,
People are not picking your call.
that's brokement. That's pure brokement. So we beg this January, we ask for speed.
Amen.
But like you said, in the right direction. Speed.
It's been going like that. Yeah.
Charlie, today I woke up, I looked at, I said,
I feel.
it was only force. Hey, when are we reaching the bend?
No.
Where you say boat will show you.
For the 15 corner inside. No, January must happen.
Yeah.
In a positive way. Yeah. So that be what the Osofo people, they will have to do something.
They have to pray so January.
Yeah. Because the way the January hard, you know.
But it's good to see my brothers.
Yeah,
and it's good to be back on radio for the new year. Let me take you quickly. Like those are not in, so a bit
There's
online.
one though.
There's only one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, then Sky, take the
Ghanaian Times
Yes.
is here. I suspect there are some others out there, but they are not here with us. So let me take the Ghanaian Times. The big story on the front page says, "Food self-sufficiency, our goal." That's coming in from President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Also, 2 policemen interdicted for taking bribe from driver.
Hey.
2023. Also, government extends domestic debt exchange program. Shift something here that says, "Be thankful to God." Bishop Quarty urges NTC management and staff.
Okay.
All right, then let me take you online and I take you to citynewsroom.com, where Education Minister is to meet GTech. That's the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. Manage others overseas. Yes. The University of Ghana came out to explain why the new fees have been put in place. Apparently, there's been a hold up of fees from the past 3 years. And so, yes, they've decided to, okay, time is right. Now, OSP investigating over 120 suspected corruption cases. Special prosecutor concludes corruption probe involving Charles Bisu, NDA. And there's some good news. Ghana's e-pharmacy platform officially goes live. That's also on the homepage of citynewsroom.com. Now, if you go to the business side of Citi, which is Citi Business, Guta called for total reform in VAT implementation. Agric Minister appeals to Thai investors to invest in Ghana's rice sector. And IMF boss warns 2023 will be a tougher year. Yeah, so that's from the business side of things. Let me take you to graphic online, since they have not arrived physically. The special prosecutor story is here. The e-pharmacy platform stories here. Free Abania signs 3-year deal with FC Zurich. Good news for him. And sad news, Azuma Nelson loses mother. That's on the homepage of that story. And then National Cathedral project will rake in more revenue. The president says he will build it.
Your favorite topic.
He has given them 100K for them to do something with. So there is that as well. Then I'll take you to my Joy Online quickly to wrap this up. On their homepage, Charles special prosecutor stories are there. Old Vandals request UG to provide investigative report on clash between Commonwealth, Mensa Saba halls. Fire destroys printing press in Kokomlemle. Really sad. That happened yesterday. And Sir David Ajay dismisses claims of opaque dealings in construction of National Cathedral.
I see. If you go to City Sports Online, they also have a number of stories. Black Galaxy set up friendly against Algeria, part of their preps for the Chan tournament. Cristiano Ronaldo was unveiled last night by Al Nasser. He says, I had other offers, but he decided to go to Saudi Arabia. And of course, Free Ibania joins FC Zurich. And Mudassiru Salifu makes second loan move, joins Saudi side Al Batin. So it looks like he'll be facing Cristiano Ronaldo here. And Hearts face dreams as Kotoko draw Benab in the last 32 of the MTN FA Cup. And if you go international, Russia blames missile attack on troops' phone use. Interesting. U.S. House in chaos after no speaker elected, and winter heat records smashed all over Europe. And on a sporting note, the Pele giving joyous send-off in Brazil. So that's the latest from that country. Let's start off with the Ghanaian Times. The president talking about food sufficiency.
Exactly, and that story is on page 12, although the banner headline is on the front page of the paper. And the story says that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has underscored the need for Ghana to make a systematic and conscious effort towards food self-sufficiency. Now, according to him, developing Ghana's self-sufficiency and its food security was a major challenge facing the country. However, he decried the fact that a lot of money was spent on importing, especially foodstuffs, into the country. Now, there's a quote here that says, we spend a lot of our money importing foodstuffs into Ghana, and it has been going on for too long. And I think now is the time, and we are going to have to make this systematic effort to be self-sufficient and depend on ourselves for things that we eat, he said. Now, the president made the statement when he received the executive chairman of the Jospon Group of Companies, Dr. Is it doctor? He's not a doctor. Please, you should stop this thing. Oh, no, these things just for some reason annoy me. Do you know how hard it is to get a doctor? If somebody goes to get some, 2x4 doctor, then we
This is honorary.
This is honorary.
Yeah, it's honorary. We don't use it.
Okay.
We should stop that thing. It's annoying. People have fought hard to be doctors. You know what it takes? We should stop this thing. Make self I boss self. The point is that journalists, you know better.
Let me give you some details from some stories that have emerged. Let's start from the National Cathedral. Yes. Let me start from the National Cathedral. So, the National Cathedral project will rake in more revenue.
I see.
The National Cathedral of Ghana project has a sustainable economic model, which is expected to rake in $95 million in the first 5 years of its operation, according to the executive director of the NCG Secretariat, Dr. Polopoku Mensah. The model is made up of about 10 revenue streams, which include multi-purpose rental spaces and over 1,000-seater banquet hall, a conference center, a 350-seater biblical restaurant, a cafe, shops, and theaters. The rest are its groundbreaking design, a Bible Museum of Africa, and a Biblical Gardens of Africa, which would help facilitate the development of the country and turn it into a major religious metropolis for African Christianity. According to the executive secretary, the sustainable economic model, which will generate income, will be implemented progressively to attract global and African visitors. Adding, quote, its economic impact analysis has been submitted to Parliament. He said other details such as accounting for all the monies paid by the state and the work done so far had also been submitted to Parliament after a thorough briefing session with the Select Committee on Trade, Industry and Tourism.
Would it be the 8th wonder of the world or the 9th wonder of the world?
See, he said this at the National Cathedral of Ghana Bible Reading Marathon Thanksgiving service and the celebration of the laying of the foundation of the cathedral in Accra on Monday. Now, the president has also been speaking about this, as has Charles Edu Boahin. The president, as has said David J, the president says he will complete the National Cathedral, and that's on citinewsroom.com. You find that story there. The president has once again reiterated his commitment to ensuring the completion of the National Cathedral project, despite the numerous criticisms. Quote, as I have said before, the National Cathedral will not just be another monument adorning the skyline of Accra. It will be a rallying point for the entire Christian community to come together and worship. I am therefore committed to working with the Board of Trustees to ensure the completion of the project to the glory of God.
This was after he donated 100,000.
Yes, 100,000. And then Sir David J granted an interview. That's on My Joy Online. They spoke to him exclusively, I think. Says that the architect working on the National Cathedral, Sir David J, has dismissed assertions that his firm, Ajay Associates, is unduly benefiting from the project. Speaking in an interview with Maxwell Agbagba on the sidelines of the Black Star Line Festival Summit, he said there's nothing wrong with having a healthy debate on the edifice and its funding. However, Mr. J believes that it is sad to rather make accusations without any foundation. Quote, everybody should have an opinion and talk about how they feel about everything. Things should be allowed to be investigated and checked so everybody feels comfortable. There's nothing hidden or opaque. Everything is going through the system that can be checked through the government, he said.
Okay, let me take you back to the Ghanaian Times. There's a story that is on page 14 of the newspaper. FDA warns public against consumption of dead fish washed ashore. Now, Anita Nyako Urinchi, writing, it says that the Food and Drugs Authority has cautioned the public against the consumption of dead fish washed ashore. According to the FDA, the consumption of dead seafood washed ashore must be approached with caution, as the cause of death of the fish may be adversely may adversely affect the health of the consumer. Now, the story goes on to say that the Director of Communications of the FDA, Mrs. Rodapia, gave the advice in a statement issued and copied to the Ghanaian Times in Accra yesterday. And it goes on to say that the advice followed a video which had gone viral showing the carcass of a whale that washed ashore in Tema in the Greater Accra region, where consumers soliciting portions or they are slicing portions of the whale for cooking. And there's a further quote here that says, when fish dies through chemical poisoning, the chemical in question can be passed on to the consumer or converted into a more toxic chemical during preparation, either through cooking, smoking, frying of the meal, which then causes food poisoning to or in the consumer. Now, when I saw this video yesterday, the Tema is not far away from here, right? And then you have a whole regional police unit there. If this animal or fish we see it ashore for some reason, and the position is that, and it's been the position all along that you don't eat that, why didn't we have the police or the marine people, what's the name, the Navy people move in to cordon off the whale and prevent people from going close and catching it? You know, it doesn't serve any useful purpose when after the fact you now issue a statement cautioning people. I mean, if something bad will happen, it will happen. So let the institutions of state be proactive.
Okay.
This business of sitting in the office and merely issuing statements, it doesn't help. Yes, it's good, but the bigger solution is that we should go there, and you know, there should be a network of people out there who report these things.
Anyway, if you go to citinewsroom.com, there's a conversation to be had about fees and all.
Yes.
The Minister of Education, Dr. Yao Educhum, is scheduled to meet the management of some public universities, the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, and the National Union of Ghana Students over agitations that have met the increase in fees. The student body has accused the University of Ghana and other public universities of defying an order by Parliament instructing them to increase fees by 15%. The University of Ghana's management has, however, justified its decision to increase the fees. Now, speaking to Citi News on the matter, The public relations officer of the Education Ministry, Kwesi Kwating, said he was hopeful that a consensus would be arrived at the meeting, which is set for Thursday. And he says, quote, the Minister of Education has once again intervened and has invited the universities in question. We have the University of Ghana, UCC, and KNUST, and other public unis. We have extended an invitation to them. Hopefully, we'll meet them together with GTEC on Thursday. And the entire aim is to be able to find a lasting solution or resolve this issue, end quote. He, however, insists that the various universities must comply with the directive by Parliament, which is backed by the law. So that's the latest on that one.
Let me take you to the BBC. They have done some work on the trauma Ghanaians working on fishing vessels are going through.
Okay.
Yes, and it says Ghana fishing abuse, corruption, and death on Chinese vessels. And this is by George Wright and Thomas Nadi. And it's a really, really harrowing read, narrated by Bright Chaikweku, who has worked as a bosun. That's an officer in charge of equipment and crew. And according to, he says some of his colleagues fell sick with cholera on board vessels. They didn't make it back. Some people have been set ablaze on board certain vessels. Wow. And according to the story, the UK-based Environmental Justice Foundation says at least 90% of industrial trawlers operating in Ghana are owned by Chinese corporations, in contravention of Ghanaian laws on the ownership of vessels fishing under the local flag. A recent EGF report investigates what it says are illegal or reported and unregulated fishing and human rights abuses by China's distant water fishing fleet in Ghana. The ownership and operational control of China's DWF fleet is complex and opaque and is the largest in the world. And so you can get on the BBC and read more of these accounts by Ghanaians.
Okay, let's go back to citinewsroom.com. Let's talk about the special prosecutor. Yes, now the office of the special prosecutor has revealed that it is currently investigating over 120 cases in which it suspects corruption. Now, the title of the story is OSP investigating over 120 suspected corruption cases. The story goes on to say, in a half-year report pursuant to Section 3.3 of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, which mandates the office to publish on a half-yearly basis cases it was investigating or prosecuting, the OSP said the cases included the alleged bribery by Airbus SE, a European multinational aerospace corporation, in respect of the sale and purchase of military aircraft for the Republic of Ghana. The other named high-profile cases include an investigation into the banking and financial sector crisis and allegations of attempted bribery by members of parliament by an unnamed wealthy businessman. Other cases under investigation are the alleged improper acquisition of state-protected land at the Achimota Forest Enclave and the Sakumono Ramsar site by the deceased former CEO of the Forestry Commission, Kojo Usefrie, in an investigation in respect of suspected corruption and corruption-related offences in respect of the recruitment exercise of Course 51 of Cadet Officers Training at the Ghana Police Academy. So that report is out. I think it's a public document.
Yeah, in fact, later today, I think we have to look at some of the things that are happening in there. But I mean, it is important that we commend the Office of the Special Prosecutor for the work they're doing, because, mind you, they have not been paid, at least if the stories of the last, month are anything to go by. For the past, how many months?
16 months.
16 months, they did not receive salary. And you wonder how they are surviving. And these people have their own families to feed. And they are supposed to be chasing people who are stealing our money and doing all kinds of things. Again, we are told that the staff come up to about 20 or so odd individuals. I think that institution needs the kind of resources that we should be giving it to do its job properly, not paying lip service to, we'll give you the money, and they are not giving the money. It's a good thing Parliament got involved and they got an undertaking from the Ministry of Finance that money will be provided. But we should monitor and ensure that these guys are properly resourced.
All right. Let me, talking about money, let me take you back to citinewsroom.com. Cedi may depreciate further in 2023 first quarter.
Charlie.
Charlie. I can't remember the finance committee.
Oh, my good friend.
Let the man work. I can't remember
you need the Cedi to work.
Expects the Ghana Cedi to further depreciate from January to June this year before a possible IMF board approval in the second quarter of 2023. It says Ghana's economy recorded one of the worst non-oil GDP growth due to the impact of the debt restriction measures. This was in a social media post. Quote, the haircut on domestic bonds and Eurobond is expected to adversely impact the health of the banking sector, local businesses and individuals. Also, bilateral debt restructuring will lead to government's foreign finance projects being abandoned. Unemployment will worsen due to the freeze on unemployment, debt restriction, poor business climate, and massive austerity. Ghana will default in the payment of interest and principal on domestic bonds, Eurobonds, and most of our bilateral loans in 2020.
You know, Honorable Tofos, you know you are my good friend, but I beg you.
You want some good news?
We want good news. But you know what annoys me?
This morning, the things are annoying you. It's only the 4th of January.
Godfrey,
calm down.
Wait. You know, you see, the banks are also part of the problem.
What's happening? What have they done?
The exchange rates as published yesterday, the average published yesterday by the Bank of Ghana, told us that they were buying the dollar for 8.57 cedis.
Yeah.
And then selling at 8.58.
Yes.
You understand? Now, if you go to the bank, some are doing 12 when they are selling the dollar to you. They are doing 12. You go and take the thing from the Bank of Ghana or even trading among themselves. At least if my understanding or comprehension
of how it works
is correct. You know, and then you are doing 12 and over.
You know, I mean, we need clarification. There's a lot happening in that space that doesn't make sense. Because yesterday, for instance, somebody who owns a forex bureau was like, they are buying the dollar at 11 from the bank.
They are buying.
Yes, 11. They are buying. When they go, they are being sold. It's being sold to them at 11.
But where
is the 8 coming from? Yes. So they are buying at 11 and selling at 12.
Why should that? Why is that?
There is some discrepancy in the mix somewhere, but I mean, I'm no expert, so I don't understand what is really happening there, but there's something interesting there. Maybe we'll get somebody who understands what's going on.
Yeah, I think somebody who understands this thing would have to explain to us, because it doesn't make sense. If this is the indicative price you put out there, then the margin, over
but
the
it should
top,
not be that wide.
Not be that wide, because, I mean, some people doing 12, 13 in extreme cases, and then the black market people are also doing their own thing. It is not right. It is not right.
Okay, let me tell you about what Ghana is doing to Chinese visitors or people who come from China, Ghanaians included. Passengers originating from China, and this on graphic.com.gh. Passengers originating from China will be required to undergo free mandatory COVID-19 testing on arrival. That's interesting. Free mandatory COVID-19 testing.
When they are going or coming?
When they are coming.
And these are Ghanaians or non-Ghanaians?
No, passengers. Anybody who's coming from China.
But I know why definitely say it's interesting. But who is paying for it?
It says free.
Why should it be free?
Charlie, the $50 we paid, no, they have buffer.
No. Because I mean,
you are paid by the fact you paid that money plenty times.
Yeah, plenty times. As a citizen, of course, they subsequently reduced it. And also, when those days when you were going to the UK or traveling elsewhere, you paid for the test. It was not free of charge.
They are saying that now it is free.
No, we can't afford that luxury. I don't think we should go there.
Well, maybe they can. The passengers from China must also present a valid negative COVID-19 PCR test result 48 hours prior to departure from the originating country per the latest guidelines, which will come into effect on January 6, 2023. This is very important. All other passengers from countries aside from China who are partially vaccinated or unvaccinated will be required to present a valid COVID-19 PCR test result 48 hours prior to departure from the originating country. These are new guidelines.
Okay. Before we go, there's a story by Kingsley Hope in the Ghanaian Times page 3, actually. Let me bring that to you quickly. 2 policemen interdicted for allegedly taking bribe from a driver. Now, the Ashanti Regional Police Command has interdicted 2 police women for for allegedly harassing a driver and taking bribe from the victim. Now, the personnel have been identified as Inspector Martha Aka and Sergeant Felicia Okran, stationed at the Asokwa Divisional Motor Traffic and Transport Department in Kumasi. Now, it goes on to provide further details, and according to the story, apparently the interdicted personnel were asked to ensure discipline on the Atonsu Lake Road, and they were captured on video demanding money from a tipper truck driver after they had stopped him.
Okay.
Oh, Charlie.
All right. A quick story from Brazil for those who love their football. This is on the BBC, yes, and it says
story building.
Yes, and it says Pele's funeral, Brazil legend giving joyous send-off. And the story reads: if Monday's wake for Brazilian football legend Pele was a day of reflection, Tuesday's funeral cortege was one of carnivalesque proportions. The 82-year-old, who many regarded as the world's best football player, died on December 29. His coffin arrived in Santos on Monday, where thousands of mourners came to pay their respects at the ground of his former club. Some even queued overnight. On Tuesday, supporters club Torcida Jovem gathered outside the Urbano Caldeira Stadium ahead of the casket leaving. Fans waved huge black and white banners, the colors of the Santos Football Club. Many wore the number 10 shirts that Pele made so famous. So it looks like they were there having a bit of a good time in honor of the man the Brazilians called Ore, or the king.
You know, his mother's alive.
Yeah, over 100 years old.
100 plus.
That's
For me, the last thing image of it was when the funeral cortege drove past his house, his mother's house. His mother was in, but because she's very old, she couldn't make it. But his sister was on the balcony. She was weeping. It was really, really sad. As the coffin passed by the front of the house.
Perfect peace. I mean, what we should also learn from that is let's not keep dead bodies with us for so long. I mean, in some cases, people are keeping their bodies for close to a year.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, and you don't know why they are even doing it. Okay, it passed under a week.
Yeah,
it's very.
Here,
the Pope, the same.
We have things to do. We have things to do for the funeral.
All right. Anyway, thank you, God. Thank you, Richard. That was the newspaper review. Coming up next is the Citi Business News.
We're sorry to interrupt this program for a breaking news story. Information reaching us is that the whole country.
By MTN. MTN is saying that if you need to make an urgent call, but you realize that you don't have airtime, just dial *506#. And you can bundle data whenever you run out to continue browsing. As always, the conversations don't need to end. Borrow extra time now and enjoy the things you love on your favorite network, MTN. The Citi Business News is also brought to us by Goil. Goil is an oil marketing company of choice, and they are making things easy. You can now use mobile money or your bank card to pay for your fuel whenever you buy fuel at a Goil service station. Just log on online, just go to their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages to find out more. Goil, good energy. Goil, yeah, DM. And the Citi Business News also brought to us by Enterprise. Enterprise, your advantage. And Access Bank is also bringing us the Citi Business News. Let's get into that. Michael Obodu is here with the latest.
Hello and welcome to the breakfast edition of Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN Goil Enterprise Life, your advantage. Access Bank, modern banking, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citibusinessnews.com. Coming up, economist Professor Lord Mensah projects depreciation of the cedi against the dollar in the first quarter of 2023. Also, with the expected rollout of an increase in the VAT rate and the reversal of the discount on benchmark values, the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, urges public to prepare for a spike in the cost of goods. My name is Michael Obodu, and to details of our stories now, economist Professor Lord Mensah is predicting the marginal depreciation of the local currency against the dollar in the first quarter of the year. He attributes this possibility to the structural drive of the demand for forex on the trading market. The Ghanaian cedi recorded a marginal appreciation in the last few days of December 2022 after experiencing a sharp depreciation in the previous month. Here is economist Professor Lord Mensah speaking on the projected trajectory of the cedi.
If you look at our exchange rate dynamics, what we had September, October, which has to do, we had some speculative drive component in that escalation of the cedi against the dollar. But then there's also a seasonal aspect that we cannot ignore, which is normally after Christmas that, inventories have been sold out by importers. They are, currencies or whatever they traded in is in cedis now, and they may want to convert it to dollars to go and import from wherever they've been importing from. And so looking at this, we're looking at the first quarter, that is January to somewhere in March, April. There will be this kind of pressure on the demand for the dollar. And as a result of that, we're going to see a bit of depreciation. But then that kind of reduction or appreciation that we witnessed just at the wrap-up of the Christmas, getting to the end of the year, was a correction of the speculative drive. And now that the speculative drive has, toned down and we have the structural drive, the seasonal effect will kick in. And that's why I said that the seasonal effect will make the dollar appreciate against the cedi, but it won't be like what we had earlier.
Meanwhile, he shares his thoughts of the IMF's warning of a more complex 2023. He urges Ghanaians to brace themselves for the year.
The IMF woman, indicates tougher times ahead. He knows, the economic situation. This is an economy that has been an import-oriented economy, an economy that is driven by the dollar, an economy that without importation cannot stand on its own. And out of the lessons that have been learned from last year, activities and policies are going to be turned on to reorient the economy. And it takes a pain. An economy that you can easily import. Some individuals or some businesses thrive on importations and other things. And I can tell you that if you grow a substitute from what they import, so for instance, if your business is to import rice, government rolls out, partnerships and policies to ensure that, they reduce rice importation. Is going to affect while the economy is shifting or reorienting itself, obviously you're going to have that kind of difficulty. And so it's something that we may have to endure.
That was economist Professor Lord Mensah. Now, on the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar is selling at 8 cedis 59 pesos. The British pound is selling at 10 cedis 32 pesos. The euro is selling at 9 cedis 8 pesos. However, at some forex bureaus, the dollar is selling at 12 cedis. The British pound is selling at 13 cedis 50 pesos, and the euro is selling at 11 cedis 20 pesos. Away from that, the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, says Ghanaians should get ready to pay more for goods and services soon, following the implementation of the increase in the value-added tax VAT from 12.5% to 15% effective 1st January 2023. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, during the 2023 budget presentation, indicated that the increase in VAT is expected to yield 2.7 billion Ghana cedis, which will be used to augment funding for road infrastructure development. GUTA, however, believes that government may not achieve its targets without ensuring compliance first. In an interview with Citi Business News, President of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obing, said the increase in VAT, coupled with other government measures, such as the reversal of benchmark policy, will ultimately lead to an increase in the prices of goods on the market.
So the effect
will then go to the consumer, because we are all talking about the fact that prices should be reduced to mitigate the plight of the consuming public, and yet the taxes keep on increasing. Okay. And so when it happens like that, we are unable to reduce our prices, rather to pass on whatever cost it is to the consuming public, unfortunately. Especially at the time that the benchmark have been reversed completely to the disadvantage of the importer and the consumer as well.
That was President of the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng. Meanwhile, the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, is urging government to relook some of its policies within the tax base to ensure uniformity. According to the association, though government has completely reversed the benchmark value policy, its decision to increase the value-added tax rate from 12.5% to 15% will compound the challenges within the manufacturing sector. Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries, Chona Makpelo, has been speaking to Citi Business News.
We don't have anything at all against government finding ways of generating revenue for the country. But we're saying that government has an aggressive industrialization transformation plan, which AGI is made aware of, which together we're helping government to implement. And we feel that there has to be a harmony in policy for us to be able to achieve these plans. So if on one hand, you're entirely taking off the benchmark value, which we've been advocating for, which we are welcome and is great. On the other hand, you're introducing an increment in VAT. So in effect, the cost is still high because all of them are cost anyway, and they still go up to add up. And so we believe that there has to be proper harmony in the tax environment. So industry becomes less burden of the tax obligation they have. There are many taxes that are not helping industry at all. So to increase VAT at this moment, we believe it's not going to go well to help industry in helping to achieve the national industrialization transformation agenda.
That was the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries, Chonam Akpelu. In a related development, the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana says the reversal of the benchmark policy by government is in bad faith. According to the Executive Director of the Association, Samson Asakia Wingobet, it is worrying that government refused to engage stakeholders before taking the decision. 3 years after the implementation of the benchmark policy, the government recently announced a complete reversal of the policy effective January 1, 2023. This means that beginning this year, importers will not enjoy anymore the 10% discount on vehicles and 30% discount on all other goods. Moving on, the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry says it expects the government to make committed efforts at paying contractors for jobs completed over the years. The roads minister had recently announced some payments before the end of 2022. Speaking to Citi Business News, CEO of the Chamber, Emmanuel Cherry, stated that although the efforts was commendable, the about 30 million Ghana cedis was woefully inadequate compared to the about 11 billion Ghana cedis total debt owed its members.
So even though he has made the promise that he's going to pay contractors before the close of the year 2022, which has not been materialized because the amount of money released is barely a little below 30 million Ghana cedis, which is just a drop. So it's nowhere near the debt portfolio that saddles the construction industry, because the road fund alone is in arrears of 6 billion Ghana cedis. A consolidated fund is over almost a little about 5 billion Ghana cedis. So therefore, putting the two together, we are looking up to approximately 11 billion Ghana cedis. So if 30 million has been released, it's no news. But we thank you so much for at least the words of encouragement. We are very grateful for all the concerns that he has shown so far to the construction industry. Even though there is so much to be done, and we are expecting that 2023, the Honorable Minister will live to his promises and his words, because we believe in actions more than words. His words are becoming too many than the actions that we are seeing. So therefore, he should live to his actions.
You heard the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, Emmanuel Cherry. And that does it for the breakfast edition of City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN Goal, Enterprise Life, Your Advantage, Access Bank, Modern Banking, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Michael Ubudu. Have a good business day. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business.
Seven 13. Still listening to the Citi Breakfast Show. We'll get into kickoff in a bit. Kickoff brought to us by Lecheho. Have you updated your records? It's a new year. Please go and update your records. Remember that the Bank of Ghana says the Ghana card is now the only accepted ID for all financial transactions. So you need to update your records with your Ghana card. Visit any Lecheho branch near you to update your records with your Ghana card so you are served faster and better. You can send a WhatsApp message to 0574065958 or call 0302208333. Lecheho, let's improve lives. Let's get into kickoff, the latest from the world of sport. Benjamin Nketiah is here. It's time for kickoff.
Benjamin Nketiah here with kickoff in the headlines. Daniel Lefree Barnier joins Swiss top flight side FC Zurich. Newcastle hold league leaders Arsenal to a goalless draw in the English Premier League. And in the NBA, there were wins for the Lakers, the Pacers, and the Dallas Mavericks. Let's get into it and let's start off with some transfer news. Accra Hearts of Oak striker Daniel Efriye has completed a move to FC Zurich until the summer of 2026. The 21-year-old will join the Swiss club after the 2023 CHAN in Algeria, which starts on January 13. Now, both parties have agreed not to disclose details of the transfer arrangements. The latest announcement comes after Hearts of Oak confirmed that the striker had renewed his contract with the club. So that's what's going on with Daniel Efriye. Let's now move on to the MTN FA Cup, and Ghana Premier League clubs Hearts of Oak and Dreams FC will square off in the last 32 of the 2022-2023 MTN FA Cup. Kumasi Asante Kotoko will be away at Division 2 club Benab FC. Now, in the other pairings worth noting, BBNE Gold Stars will take on King Faisal, while Great Olympics will face Legon Cities in an all-Premier League affair. Now, RTU will take on Wasunta. There's Wamanafo Mighty Royals versus Inswatreman FC. There's Bofakwa Tano taking on Adriana Stars. Samatex will be up against the Nations FC. Kotoku Royals will be up against Nzima Kotoko. There's Sky FC versus Karela United as well. And all games are expected to be played between the 20th to the 23rd of January 2023. Let's move on to the local Black Stars camp, and Black Galaxies head coach Arno Walker believes his side will be in very good shape when the 2023 CHAN tournament begins on January 13. The team have already arrived in Algeria for the next phase of their pre-CHAN tournament camping. Ghana has been paired in Group C with Madagascar, Sudan, and Morocco, and Walker says they will be ready to make the country proud.
What I will tell Ghanaians is we are still on preparation, and I think these are adding and plan to this week, and we'll be in camp for the past 6 weeks, and we have about 2 weeks ahead of us before the commencement of the tournament, which I feel by then the team would have been in good shape and we all give them their heart desire.
Now, the Black Galaxies will take on the local national team of Algeria in an international friendly match on Saturday, 7th January 2023. The game will be played at the Nelson Mandela Stadium in Algiers with a week to start the tournament. So the Black Galaxies getting in shape there. Let's now move on to the Premier League, and let's catch up with last night's action. Arsenal, they were held to a goalless draw by Newcastle United at home in last night's action that we brought you. Mikel Arteta, who is Arsenal head coach, was livid about a penalty decision he believes was not awarded.
I'm really proud. The way we played, the way we dominated the game, the approach that we had from the beginning. We lacked that spark in the final third to find the opening, to find the right moment, an extra pass and a little bit of finishing quality, but we had a lot of situations in and around the box to do better. And then, there were two scandalous penalties, both of them. It's not particular. It's a penalty or not a penalty, and it's both penalties. We were on top of them. We were chasing the goal. We were in a good moment, and I didn't want to make more changes.
Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta speaking there. Let's get to the camp of Newcastle United. Let's hear from Newcastle head coach Eddie Howe on what he made of his team's performance.
Yeah, very pleased with our defensive effort today. Very resilient, defended very, very well as a collective, really, as a team, all the way through. Arsenal are a top team, very good players, very good way of playing, so we knew we had to be at our very best. Yeah, I'd probably say that our overall game with the ball was slightly off today, but I think that's due to how Arsenal play, and we had spells where we didn't have the ball for long periods of time, and I think that just mentally fatigues you. So then when we did have the ball, we probably weren't at our best on the counter-attack. We were probably a little bit loose with the ball at times, and that induced more pressure, so that's where the defensive effort was first class.
Newcastle United head coach Eddie Howe speaking there. In some of the other matches that were played, Everton, they were thrashed at home by Brighton and Hove Albion by 4-1. Leicester City also lost at the King Power Stadium when Fulham beat them by 1-0. Manchester United, they made light work of AFC Bournemouth 3-0 is how that game ended. Today we bring you more Premier League action right here on 97.3 Citi FM. There's Southampton versus Nottingham Forest. There's Leeds United taking on West Ham. Aston Villa will be up against Wolves, and then there's also Crystal Palace versus Tottenham Hotspur, which is our feature game tonight. Let's get to some more Premier League related stuff. And Tottenham head coach Antonio Conte has admitted there is an issue between himself and the club over his long-term future, but he says he is happy. The North London side were beaten 2-0 at home by Aston Villa on Sunday, their fourth loss in 7 Premier League games, in a defeat that saw them slip out of the top 4. Now, Conte was speaking ahead of their match week 19 game against Palace.
But this is a problem between me and the club. Then now I'm really committed for this club, for Tottenham. And then there is this project, and I signed a contract with this club, and I have to accept this project to try to build with the club and to help the club in this project. Then, and during this process can happen 1,000 of things. The club can sack the manager, or there are different vision, different situation. I'm happy, but I always said to you that I'm happy. I'm happy to stay here. I'm happy to enjoy. I'm enjoying my time in Tottenham. I'm happy the way that I'm working. I'm always said this. I'm happy. It doesn't mean that I am not to tell you what we are doing. We are doing this. We are trying to create a foundation.
Tottenham Hotspur head coach Antonio Conte. Let's move to the camp of Brighton and Hove Albion, and their midfielder Alexis McAllister says he is happy at the club and is in no rush to leave. The 24-year-old's profile has soared since being a regular starter during Argentina's World Cup winning run, sparking speculation about his future. Now, the World Cup winner signed for Brighton in January 2019 and signed a contract extension last October until 2025, with Albion having the option to extend it by a year.
Well, I try not to read too much. I always say I'm really happy here. I don't have any rush to leave. I feel really good. I'm really grateful with this club, with my teammates and all the people who work here. So I'm just focused on the next game and in this club. Well, it's good for them. I think it was a good World Cup for this club. I mean, for the players who went to the World Cup, and we know that we've got a very good team, really good players. But this is a tough league. It will be hard, but we will try to finish as high as we can.
Brighton midfielder Alexis McAllister speaking there. Let's do some more transfer-related news. And Al Nassr forward Cristiano Ronaldo says he is excited about the new chapter in his career after being unveiled by his new club. The 37-year-old has signed a contract through to the summer of 2025. Now, Ronaldo will reportedly receive the biggest football salary in history at more than £177 million per year.
Well, so far feeling very good. I'm so proud to make this big decision in my life in football. As you mentioned before, in Europe, my work, it's done. I won everything. I played the most important clubs in Europe. And for me now it's a new challenge, as you mentioned, in Asia. I'm glad for that Al Nassr gave me this opportunity to show and develop not only for the football, but also for the generation, the young generation, the women's generation as well, for the young boys. And for me, it's a challenge, but in the same way, I feel very, very happy and very proud.
Cristiano Ronaldo speaking there. He plays for Al Nassr these days. Get used to it. Let's get to the NBA and let's catch up with action from last night. The Dallas Mavericks were up in a rivalry game against the Houston Rockets. 111-106 is how that game ended. The Mavericks winning that one. The Lakers also being led by LeBron James won against the Charlotte Hornets. 121-115 is how it ended. And then, of course, there was the legendary 71-point Donovan Mitchell game against the Bulls. 145-134. The Pacers also beat the Raptors in their own game. Some games were also played earlier this morning. There was the Wizards losing to the Milwaukee Bucks in a return game. The Boston Celtics lost heavily to the OKC Thunder, and then the Sacramento Kings also were up against the Utah Jazz. The Kings winning that game by a single possession. So that's how it broke down in the NBA. That's all for this morning's edition of Kickoff. My name is Benjamin Nketia. Kickoff was brought to us by Lecheho. There's more sport at citysportsonline.com.
Trust the process. The biggest things often start small. No matter where you are now, the most important decision you will make today is knowing where you'll be tomorrow. All you have to do is take
Breakfast Show. Wednesday, the 4th of January, 2023. The messages are welcome on 0549 986 996. Happy birthday messages coming in. Happy birthday to Sesoni Obodai Wentum. He's head of the Public Affairs Department at the Ghana Highway Authority. Used to sit in the chair just like this doing radio. He decided to move on to do other things. So happy birthday to you from myself and the team. My namesake Ni Obodai. Sesoni Obodai Wentum. And I'd like to say happy birthday to my brother Lawrence Ni Ajakwa, photographer Bakumpe, champion photo man. One of the most creative people I know. Hard guy. Very, very, very interesting dude. Happy birthday to you, little bro. I wish you the very, very, very best. And may 2023 be a blessed year for you. And may our dear Man United win lots of trophies. Amen. Happy birthday to you, Lawrence. Happy birthday to our very own Sandra Yam Ati of Citi FM and Citi TV. The HR's number 2. Superwoman. Super shito maker. Alright, this one says today is the 3rd wedding anniversary of Mrs. Elizabeth Williams of the Kolebu Pharmacy. Message is coming from Mr. and Mrs. Michael Quay. More birthday messages coming in. This one says, please help us wish our lovely father, Elder Archibald Nyanzu of Asamankese, a happy birthday. The message is from his children, Nana Nkrumah, Apia Okubi, and Mieza Dumakon of Asamankese. This one says, I'd like to wish a true gentleman and a good friend happy birthday, Lawyer Perry Edem Amemonu, the first law in Adabraka. And the sender is describing herself as his only official girlfriend known to his wife. Kindly wish my beautiful daughter Enyonam Ya Grace Kublenu a happy birthday. She's 5 today. That's from Gilbert Kublenu. And this one says, I thank God for your life today and always you have been an amazing husband and father. God bless you and make all your endeavors fruitful from... Okay, the message is from the kids and I, according to what I'm reading. And so it's a birthday dedication. The birthday dedication being sent to Mr. Abraham Lincoln Damche, who's marketing officer ECG Kofredia. Now, the average flight from Accra to Dakar takes over 3 hours. So why are you spending an entire day traveling between these 2 points because of long transit hours? Kenya Airways has brought you a solution. Every Monday and Wednesday, fly direct from Accra to Dakar and vice versa. And enjoy the superior service of Kenya Airways in addition to the new comfort and convenience the new flights offer. Kenya Airways, the pride of Africa. Now it's the Imperial Insure and Win promo between now and the 31st of March this year. Insure your vehicle with Imperial General Assurance and win handsome rewards. Yes, it is instant. Just insure and pick your reward. Fuel coupons, gift vouchers, special souvenirs, and many more. You can call them today on 0302 788 955 or 0577 667 436 and talk to any of their agents across the country for further details. T's and C's apply. Imperial General Assurance, solid protection.
Let me send birthday wishes quickly. It's from Mrs. Marilyn Kondamche and children to Abraham Lincoln Damche, marketing officer.
Okay, that's the second one that's coming in.
Yeah.
This one wasn't. It was only signed from I and the kids, so we now know who
this
the
is
I
Marilyn
is.
Kondamche. So she sent that message.
Great.
So happy birthday for Abraham Lincoln Damche. This is from the family.
Great. Now, in this day and age where rent charges are going through the roof and finding a place to stay is a major headache, YouGoFlip is here to make the home ownership journey realistic, fun, and more affordable. Log on to YouGoFlip.com, register with your phone number or email address, and buy as many tickets as possible. You can win a house at Pram Pram weekly game prizes or one of the many consolation prizes. Even if you don't win, you get loyalty points equivalent to $3 a ticket. Now, when you accumulate all of that, you can use it as a down payment towards your next home with YouGoFlip or with other affiliated property developers.
Channel, Mammy Mo, Nkomobi, Nkomoni Nani there. The new day, others from Kwa Samenu Nama, Menu and Biro Obiara, Samu Weni Marimpwa, Missuronina, Ayokra Samitsunza, Muza Miamu, Medakin Dos, Wimima, why Rechi, Mammy Nije. Baby, it's na minche, mami mbo, nkomobi, menkomoni na renide.
Unleashing the power of radio breakfast. This is Citi.
Hey, 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 mina ma baby.
Later on the show, we have day 3 of our effective living series. We are still talking about fiscal preparation towards starting over well. We're also getting to the half-yearly report or the half-year report from the Office of the Special Prosecutor, giving us an update on a number of things that office has been doing. Your messages are welcome though on 0549 986 996. A few more birthday messages before we shift our attention. All right, let's go through some of the messages, Richard.
My dearest wife, Alma, you brought hope, happiness, and eternal love into my life. I will keep you happy and make sure the smile on your face never fades, and that every day of the coming year is a special day for you. Happy New Year, my dear wife. Afodoji, sending that one in. And this one says, happy birthday to Felix Awuku of UNB Bank from Livingstone, Amavo, and the Nshona Group. This one says, please wish my husband, Ebenezer Mwako, head of sales at Mobile Zone, from the kids and I, your only wife, Maggie Charlie. We love you. Your only wife. I love the I love the vim unopposed. This one says that good morning, Bernard and team. It says that we want to wish our beautiful wife and mother, Judith Ugo Dako, a happy birthday. Daddy, Sean, and your twin daughters, Shanice and Shaniza. Wow. Love you so much. May God continue to bless and protect you all the days of your life, and may you fulfill his destiny for your life. Love always is coming in from Seth, and he lives at Lakeside Estates. That's your husband. And yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, celebrating their wives and their husbands.
So like I said, at 9 a.m. this morning on the Citi Breakfast Show, we'll get into day 3 of the Effective Living series. We are talking about understanding lifestyle diseases. Bernard Avila will be talking to Dr. Yakoba Tiasi, Senior Lecturer at the University of Ghana Medical School. So join us then. But the Office of the Special Prosecutor, very interesting. It's been working, well, no, I won't say quietly. Some of the things that office has been doing has been on the quiet. Others are very heavy on the public front burner. So we heard the OSPs take on La Bianca and all of that. There were other cases the OSP was handling. So we'll discuss that in a bit. But yeah, in the last few days, several people go on social media, and one of the first tweets they check out is the Bank of Ghana's Twitter handle.
Yes, it's become very popular.
Oh yeah, to see what the exchange rate is.
In fact, me, I'm now following them.
You're following them.
Because the mortgage people will let me rest. The mortgage people will let me rest.
They're calling you. Can you change your phone number?
So yeah,
change your phone number.
So yeah, the Bank of Ghana's Twitter handle is a very popular one these days.
Yeah,
they've been stating what the exchange rate is, at least on their end. You know, and
so was it this morning?
Let me just check for you.
This morning they have not updated.
They haven't dropped the new one.
No. So it's still from yesterday. That's still what they have.
So yesterday,
which was posted 22 hours ago. If you go to their Facebook page, Bank of Ghana exchange rate comes with their insignia, and then it says exchange rate for Tuesday, the 3rd of January 2023. And we're told here that they are buying the US dollar for 8.5717 Ghana cedis. That's how much they are buying, and then selling for 8.5803 Ghana cedis.
So that's what basically every bank.
Yeah, that's the average.
The average.
Yeah, that within the banks trading among themselves. That's the average they are selling or buying the dollar to each other. Now, if you go to the British pound column, they are doing that for 10.3058 Ghana cedis. That is buying, and then selling for 10.3178 Ghana cedis. And then the euro, it's 9.1412 Ghana cedis, and then that's how much they are buying it, and then they are selling for 9.1502 Ghana cedis. Now this basically states that the average interbank rates used by commercial banks for transactions at the close of business on Friday the 30th of December 2022. So we are waiting to see exactly what the situation will be.
But it has remained fairly stable around this figure, what the Bank of Ghana posts.
Yeah, in terms of the 8.
The 8. No. Yeah. But the concern for most people has been, it looks like sometimes elsewhere.
Why are you camouflaging it?
I'm not camouflaging it. I'm just telling you.
You see, the point is that, and you see, somebody has to explain to us what exactly.
Which is what we are trying to find out this morning. What's happening with the money,
Because you can't tell me or publish this, which everybody is saying, which is public information. We go there, look at it, 8.5. You're selling at 8.5. And then you go to the banks, and then you are being told that, we are doing it for 11.5 or 12 or 12 point something.
I'm even getting some info that yesterday at the port, it was 11.6.
The port? Yeah. So the port has a different rate from that?
I'll have, but that's info, very reliable info I'm getting.
It is not Makola market. I don't understand how, with all the greatest respect I would extend to the Makola women, because they do great work. But this idea of ube masing, we don't do forex trading like that. Like ube masing, like this is what ube masing. I mean, what we should be fixed. We should know. I mean, we can't run an economy like that. It doesn't make sense to me. And the way it is it is hurting those of us who have dollar-denominated, mortgage. You understand? And then also...
Are they going by this one?
No, they are not going by this one. That's my problem.
They are not going by this
No.
one. But you show them this one.
No, you see.
Why don't you show them? You see, when the people call you, and they give you the workings, they show working. Then you show working and say, BOG says that the rate is 8.9.
I'm not a bank.
But the average, how does the average of 8 become 11?
It's average there. It's high point, low point, and then we find middle.
They said 8 point something.
But you see, what they will tell you is that you are not a bank. And the notice here is saying that this is what they are using to trade amongst themselves as banks. So someone has got. I think someone is on the line to explain this.
Let's speak of Jackson. Big Joe, Happy New Year. Of strategy and business operations at Dalex Finance. He understands these things. So let's just get a quick flavor of what's going on. Mr. Jackson, good morning and welcome to the Citi Breakfast Show. Happy New Year.
Happy prosperous New Year.
Bless you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are here trying to understand why, for example, the BOG will issue a public statement detailing the average exchange rate for, say, the dollar. Daily exchange rate. And then when people go to the bank, it's a different thing. When they go to the ports, it's a different thing. Can you just explain why the forex bureaus too have their own rates? Can you just explain to us, lay people, why there are these discrepancies in these numbers?
Well, first of all, the Bank of Ghana, the commercial banks, the forex bureaus, they always have different rates because their rates are. Each bank has to say that based on how much dollar I have and how much demand I have, this is how much I'm prepared to sell it or buy it for. Now, remember when the Bank of Ghana quotes a rate, it is quoting a rate for the previous day, not today.
Okay.
The Bank of Ghana is not sitting at any of our banks to tell you what the spot rate at the day is. And this spot rate may change during the day. So you cannot really look at what the Bank of Ghana, when the Bank of Ghana says the spot rate, it's for yesterday. Sometimes it may even be 2 days before, depending on how quickly the information runs through. When you get to an institution, especially you are buying at a bank or at a forex bureau, they are going to tell you what their rates are at the spot in the day. And remember that those rates, especially for the banks, may change throughout the day. It doesn't really change at the ports that much. Now, what makes things worse now is that because of the volatile market, where things go up today, down, and even in the same day, they can go up and down different times. Traders are hedging because if I buy it at, say, 10, and in the next 2 hours it goes to 12, it drops to 8, I made a loss. So they keep the spread between the buying and the selling rates wider so that they are protecting themselves in case the rates change rapidly. Does that make some amount of sense to you?
It does. I see.
I would be careful about the Bank of Ghana rate is a guide. Okay. And remember that the Bank of Ghana always is conservative.
Okay.
And there have been instances where even remember that if your rate is too high, the Bank of Ghana can even call the Treasury Department of a bank and say, why are you quoting this rate? So sometimes the banks even fudge some of the data they give to the Bank of Ghana. So, yes.
I see. So essentially, like you're saying, the Bank of Ghana's rate is a guide, but if you go to a forex bureau or say the bank, depending on what the situation is at the time, they will give a different rate.
Thank you.
But should the differences be that wide? For example, if you just do an average scan or if you just look around, you can see a 3 to 4 cedi difference. Should it always be the case?
That's why I'm saying that because the rates are going up and down in such a random manner, people have to keep the
what do you call it? The spread, as we call it, wide.
Okay.
That is the difference between buying and selling wide, so that you protect yourself.
What about the ports?
But what would you say concerning the rate at the port?
No, the rate at the port is a different issue because that's issued by customs.
Okay.
So the rate at the port is completely, I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure I know exactly what I would have presumed that the rate at the port will be a function of the Bank of Ghana rate.
Okay.
But I'm not sure I know exactly what happens at the rate at the port. I can speak more to what happens in forex bureaus and in
the banks.
Okay. I'm not sure. I know that the ports issue a rate. Sometimes it changes. I'm not sure exactly. It will be interesting to talk to those at the port.
Those at the port, yes, to get a good understanding.
Customs, and ask them that what influences your rate per day. Is it that you call the central bank and put a markup on it, or do you calculate it yourself? Do you have a treasury department that is calculating the rate? It will be interesting to talk about those things.
All right, Mr. Jackson, thank you so much.
We are not done.
Question.
No, there are different issues for Mr. Jackson to address this morning.
Okay.
No. Mr. Jackson, so the Finance Ministry on Friday issued a statement seeking another extension on this domestic debt exchange program now to January 16. What's happening? Why these constant extensions? We thought at a certain point there should be some level of agreement. Is there still consultation ongoing? Is it that there are no takers? What's happening there?
Okay, now remember that the first debt exchange program was really done with a very little consultation. It was a fair, complete, take it or leave it. Obviously, when it hit the market, they found that it was not going to be that simple. And they were initially, everybody was waiting to see what was happening, and nobody signed up for it close to the deadline. Then it was extended. Then Labour and the pension funds went on a warpath because it was going to hit them hardest. And quickly the Ministry of Finance backtracked. And if there was any constituency which deserved to be looked at again, it was the ministry, it was the pensions and the sector. But again, you have a figure that you have to attain to get to debt sustainability. So as soon as you took somebody out, somebody else has to come in. That's why there's now an attempt to bring in individuals. Now, individuals opens a new can of worms, and you do have to consult. One of the things they hadn't engaged that much. It was all presented like take it or leave it. In as much as we all say that we cannot afford not to have some sort of debt exchange program. And let me be clear here: if we don't have the program, the alternative is dire, is a chaotic default. Yet at the same time, you owe me money. You say you won't pay. You must have sit down with me and, as they say, jaw or talk about it before. All that is happening is that the jaw is taking a little bit more time than they expected. And they realize that because they don't have the force of law behind them, you have to persuade people to sign up.
Okay, so
and that's why there's an extension.
Okay, so you just mentioned that if government doesn't get this done, the alternative is dire. How much more wiggle room does government have in terms of getting takers? Since, of course, we are working with time and there's the IMF decision to be made and all of that. How is this playing out going forward? How much time does government have to tie up this deal and find out what the next step is?
Very little wiggle room. In my mind, my estimate is that by the end of this month, it should have been tied up. It is hard to imagine going into February without this issue being resolved. Then we are getting close to the doomsday scenario that if you read the Minister of Finance, he in his statement, he talked about a doomsday scenario of total chaos from a default. Remember, they've defaulted everywhere.
Yeah.
The reason why the markets are still a little bit haven't punished Ghana as badly as we could have been punished is that there is a sense that the IMF will come in and provide some stability. And then there's a sense that we will negotiate. But remember that we then need to negotiate with all these constituencies that we are asking to take a haircut. And it has to be voluntary. So we're walking on a knife edge. We have to come to a conclusion very soon. I don't think there's a lot of time at all.
Wow.
I think that the markets are treating Ghana kindly as at the moment, because now we seem to have faced up to our problems and say, I can't pay. Let's sit down. Let's have we are negotiating with the foreign debtors. We're negotiating with the local debtors. But we can't. This is not a game that can play out endlessly.
There will have to be an end at a point.
Yes.
See. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Joe Jackson, for your time. We appreciate it.
It was good talking to you this morning.
It's always an honor having you and a pleasure having you.
Joe, thank you for giving Sky some relief, because he's very upset.
He's been very grumpy this morning. Very grumpy this morning. So that was Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson is with Dalex Finance. He's director of operations at that company. Just giving us a sense, really, of where we are and what the possible next line of action could be. Joe Jackson, thank you. Director of Business Operations Strategy at Dalex Finance. Richard, are you okay?
Yeah, two quick messages on that also for Sky as well that have come through before Danike also enters. So, quick one says custom rates for duties and levies are from BOG rates. These are pegged weekly and revised every Tuesday. So, for instance, rates for duties this week should be 8.5 as quoted by BOG. However, other stakeholders such as the lines, terminals, Ghana ports do not go by these. Theirs is rather the real rate.
I see.
This is coming from AB. Customs rate for duties. Okay, no, I think I just read this message. The port exchange rate is fixed weekly. It changes every Tuesday. And then Kwejo also sends him more indicators. Please, the rates published by the BOG is the average interbank rate. Interbank rates are the rates commercial banks use to trade amongst themselves. Average interbank rates will always be lower than what customers get from the banks. You may check the average interbank lending rate and compare them to the lending rates to customers. Anytime we compare interbank rates to customer rates, we are comparing apples and pears. Thank you. This is Kwejo.
No, I don't think we are comparing apples and what do you call it? Apples and what did he say?
Pears.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that yes, we've taken note of what the Bank of Ghana has published, but our concern is why is the gap so wide? You understand?
Yeah. And that's
because ultimately they get, where do they get the dollar from? Ultimately, I mean, of course, I mean, he will be buying from the Bank of Ghana or they will selling to them and all of that. So the question is, why do we have such a wide difference? And you see, it is okay to hear the former position articulated. But the fact is also that many of these banks, given what we hear from the Abochi people, are dealing with the Abochi people. You know the Abochi people?
Yeah, I know the Abochi people.
Yeah.
All right. You don't. We'll dig more into it. But coming up next is tech and social media trends, brought to us by Cowbank. Cowbank is saying that if you reactivate your Cowbank account this season, you get more value. Get access to their short code *771# CowNet and the Cowbank app when you reactivate your Cowbank account between now and the end of the month. Call them 0800 500 500, chat with them online, send them an email, customercare@cowbank.net, or visit their website, cowbank.net, to know more. Cowbank, forward together. Vodafone is also bringing us the segment, and they have the Vodafone One Ghana promo. With just one Ghana Cedi, you get 20 minutes talk time to other networks and 1 GB of data every day between 5 a.m. and 11:59. Just dial *530# to subscribe and enjoy longer conversations and more browsing time. Vodafone, further together. Dana Kranting is here. It's time for tech and social media trends. All right, Mr. Kranting, what's happening?
Nathan.
Yes.
What's up?
I did, Charlie.
Yeah. Kiss Daniel is in the trends. The Nigerian artist.
What is he up to this time?
The guy who sang Buga.
Yeah.
This guy's favorite song, Buga.
It's one of my favorites.
And Odo Yewu. Yeah, that guy. He was late for another show. This time in Monrovia, Liberia. The show was supposed to happen on the 30th of December. He was late, so it was postponed to 31st. Now on the 31st, when he got there, he realized that the people who had purchased tickets, they were not happy. So they went to watch night service instead of coming to his show. They went to cross over and pass over and jump over in the house of the Lord. So he jammed with his crew members at the auditorium.
Hey!
But he was... But he's angry. He says
he is angry.
Yeah, he's angry.
Okay. He says he won't go there again.
He said he won't go there again. He
He's
said
lying.
he and Liberia, they've done Aka. Do you know Aka? They've done Aka. He said he won't go there again. He said it's the fault of the Liberian musicians. They are the reason why he couldn't hold the show on the 30th.
What did they do?
He didn't state why. He says it's their fault.
Charlie, but what is this trend? Of artists not showing up late, or
you see,
I don't get it.
I think to a large extent it may also be a question of lack of enforcement of contractual terms. Because I mean, if I engage you to come and perform at a show, of course, the details of when you show up, what you do, the length and duration for that matter of your performance, and how much I pay you will be discussed in the contract. So that if you decide for some reason to come well an hour after you were supposed to have reported, and that impacts me negatively in one way or the other, the person who is a party to the contract necessarily would have to enforce his rights if he so chooses. But for some reason, many of these things are not highlighted in our country. Like, we don't take these things seriously. So that is how come you would expect, you will see artists misbehaving and nobody's holding them, responsible.
Right. Yeah. It took $24,000.
You don't do that in other jurisdictions. They will sue you and Charlie.
Michael Blackson is also in the trends.
Yeah,
American comedian, social media star. He's done something good though.
What is going on with him?
I think he's built a school.
Yeah, he's built a school in Agona and Sabah.
Yeah, I saw that. Yes.
Free for all school.
Beautiful school, be like
Beautiful
that.
facility.
Oh wow, that's Samensis, area.
Yeah.
He went to school there at some point.
Agona and Sabah.
Yeah.
Samensis to why?
That's trade rules or something.
They moved him everywhere. So what kind of childhood was this?
Experience.
Eventually he landed Lambos.
No. What kind of childhood was this?
Experience.
He landed eventually at Labosco. And we are good. We are the better for it.
You will not pay fees. That school, you don't pay fees.
I see.
I'm telling you, Nathan.
Where school?
It's not a joke. Charlie, Newcastle are also in the trends.
Newcastle are in the
They are
trends.
trending. Yesterday,
Arsenal should get out.
they became the first team to stop Arsenal from
Arsenal
scoring
should
a
get
goal
out
this season.
But what's happening at Newcastle? Is it a new
Money has
from
come.
Saudi Arabia?
Money, you know, if they tell you money gives confidence, money changes all things. Look at Newcastle.
And the same Newcastle.
The players have not changed.
They have not started spending.
They haven't spent money like that. They've added like 2 or 3. Just 2 or 3.
All of a sudden.
Money is serious motivation.
Money changes things. The players are getting better dollar, better pound.
Smells good.
And they are playing better fresh.
Yeah.
Money changes all things.
I think there may be some truism. Not all things, but many things.
It is changing them.
And speaking of money changing all things, Cristiano Ronaldo, Saudi Arabia, said the challenge in Europe is over. We are going to the Gulf to go and conquer them.
After telling PS Morgan that everybody was chasing in Europe. Everybody.
When was that? That was the past is not the present.
Amen.
The past is not the present.
I hear you found
Champions
the
League, he
channel.
has won. Euros.
The man said that he wants to retire at the top level. How do you go and land in some,
He didn't say which top level. Maybe the Arabian top level.
No. He said it in I think an interview with a US presenter. He said that he wants to retire at the top level, and he was not going to go to Dubai.
So
US.
He didn't say Dubai. He didn't say Al Nassr is top level.
So you are saying
no.
So
He
now
said
Al
Dubai.
Nassr
He
is top
mentioned
level.
Dubai.
The next game between
Dubai is not Saudi Arabia.
the next game between
some place.
Al Nassr and Al Hilal. You will be there.
I'll be there live.
Al Nassr versus Al Hilal. You will be there.
You know what?
I can give you all the streaming.
But you know that he has set himself up for agenda because at least if he doesn't even score 10 goals in that league. Agenda
See,
boys.
what you people forget is that the Saudi league is a professional league.
Oh dear.
We are going to bank 50 and add it to the collection. When we finish and we are telling you the numbers,
we are scouting. We are going to do a Pele.
The Saudi
are going to do a Pele.
Oh no.
Saudi Arabia.
Our second social media trend brought to us by Cowbank and Vodafone.
Massa, make you go. We need to go to the bank first before we go and pay for the things. Time no day like that too.
Relax. Everything there in my hand inside.
Massa, we need to get the cash.
Forget the cash. See, transfer, payment. I did use the Cowbank app. No stress.
That's slow for me. I still forgo my bank. I don't have account for Cowbank.
I say forget the cash. Even without an account at Cowbank, you can download the app, sign up, and connect your mobile money wallet or debit card. And you can make your payments too.
Hey, I just signed up.
Enjoy the convenience, safety, and freedom of the Cowbank app. Whether you have an account with Cowbank or not, all options are open to you, including scan to pay. Download the Cowbank app now. Forget the cash.
Feel like I for just open account for Cowbank.
On the app, no.
Cowbank, forward together.
Cowbank, forward together.
One gunner, pip.
sending your messages on 0549 986 996. Kofi Kinata with the song Behind the Scene.
You know, but before that, Nikhil was talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. And there's a lot of behind the scenes activity on what he's done. I can make fun of it, but on the real, I think the last 3 moves that he's made, the Juventus move, if you look at what it did to the Serie A, the value of TV rights went up, viewing numbers went up. I think the first 5 or 6 games Juventus played was sold out the moment he put pen to paper. You know, and of course, a lot of eyeballs went there. When he returned to Manchester United, things happened. A lot changed. We can talk about the on the pitch, but off the pitch, a lot of things changed. Jersey sales went through the roof. Tickets went through the roof until he started misbehaving, of course. And then we've seen this deal that he's gone to do. That is a 37-year-old who is able to negotiate a deal in excess of... the deal is ridiculous for what he's able to... If you, according to The Athletic, if I'm quoting them, if you look at the numbers from The Athletic, basically, he's earning £173 million a year. That's according to Saudi state-owned media. That's what they are reporting. We don't know. Now, his wage for playing football is £62 million. 62. The rest is for image rights, commercial deals, and then becoming an ambassador for the country's 2030 World Cup. And I'm sure that is where a lot of the money is, because that thing means a lot to them. So, I mean, and if you look at some of the numbers, I think his Al Nasser's Twitter account went up by 300,000.
And it will go up by even more.
As at the time, perhaps it's gone up by more. As at the last time I checked, it was 300,000. Maybe it's gone up by more. If you look at the mentions yesterday for Al Nasser, on the normal, who gives 2 cents about Al Nasser? I don't care about Al Nasser. I now know their color is yellow and blue. You know, and sometimes there's a lot to be learned from it. You are the marketing person. It looks like this guy's a marketing machine.
Yeah.
And he knows what he's doing. It's not like he does it for fun.
For me, that's why I don't know if I can introduce this debate again between Ronaldo and Messi.
Why do you want to do this? No, it's a healthy Wednesday morning. The dollar is fine. How are you doing this?
No, you see, what I'm saying is that, I mean, look, they are both wonderful players. Yeah. But I think that Ronaldo stands taller in many aspects than just football.
Not just physically too.
You know, I'm telling you. He look, this guy, Messi will be remembered for football.
Yes.
But Ronaldo will be remembered for stardom. One is popular, one is famous. Messi is popular. Okay. Ronaldo will forever remain famous for everything he has done.
Okay.
Look, guy is an enigma. He represents so many things that you can't explain. That's why at age 37, he commands so much value. To the extent that, look, in the last couple of months, what he's been through, no country should be proud to say that you become the emblem of our quest to host the World Cup. Yeah. But this is Ronaldo. So I'm just saying that the football has become so scientific. It's doing for so many nations something that, as for we Ghana, we still don't get it.
Which reminds me, there's a stakeholders meeting to discuss why nobody is watching the Ghana Premier League.
I have said it here. This Ghana Premier League, people will not wake up and go and watch it because of football and skill. No, because we watch some on TV. One major thing that if we get right, it will change the paradigm is the hospitality aspect of it.
But some of the facilities are poor. Have you seen the place?
No, that's why I'm saying that if we get it right, which facilities are poor? The structures are there. Have you been to the toilets in the stadium before?
I went to the NDC Congress the other time at the Accra Sports Stadium.
You were trying to piss. The piss wouldn't come.
I couldn't even go there.
This is Ghana. Ghanaians, at times, Ghanaians, they are church-going people. It's not necessarily true. We like to go where everybody is. Ghana for. We are all there. If we make our stadia a destination for families, where families can go every weekend and be comfortable. Oh, it will change everything. It will change everything.
So
Now, if
you are not
go
giving
there-
people the experience.
No experience whatsoever. Everything is cha-cha. Hey, like that. You have to struggle to go there. People are sweating, sitting by you. Who wants that? Who wants that? So I'm just saying that if we can change that bit, which means that, for instance, why don't we have a hotel in the stadium?
Yeah.
Why not? Why don't we have a hotel within the Accra Sports Stadium? So that if Kumasi, Asante Kotoko, House of Folk is playing in stadium, somebody in Tamale can come knowing that I have booked a hotel within the stadium. It's good value. There's land. You see, look, I'm saying that we are thinking backwards. You don't have a restaurant that you and your family, when you go maybe 1 hour to kick-off time, you can go and spend the hour there. It's food vending. You will buy because you are there. You will drink because you are there.
Good morning to Tego's joint at the stadium.
Tego's kitchen.
Tego's kitchen.
You understand? Let's have different levels. You know, there should be a heavy do bar somewhere there. There should be an equivalent of honeysuckle there. You know, this is how you create experiences. But you don't leave it to raw football. How many people will wake up and then want to struggle just to be pushed off by somebody? You know? So I'm just saying that if we can correct that one, it will trigger something. And we still don't get it. We still, look, as a country, we say we are passionate about soccer. But the talent-driven soccer of Osei Kofi's time, Infum's time, Razak time, no, right in our very own eyes, the thing has changed to a scientific business analytical. Everything is business. Everything is TV rights. Look, have you noticed that because of television, the whole global football has changed how they do pass?
Yeah. Pass, yes.
When they are coming to start the football, because of television, they've changed. First, you had to pass forward. Now look at what happens. Everybody passes the same way because the position of the cameras. Somebody is dictating because there's money involved.
To be made.
But as for us, we say we are passionate. We are just wasting everybody's time. We set up a certain GFA and they take their own decisions. They go and put wrong players there. When we have the other time I was watching Arsenal versus the boy Tariq Lamptey.
Yeah. Arsenal Brighton versus Arsenal.
The hell that the boy gave Arsenal. And I'm saying, you had this boy and you put him somewhere and went to take somebody at the senior stage of his football career to kind of just waste everybody's time. And the structure is that there's a GFA who has to do it, so let's all keep quiet and clap. Can you imagine? And there's a business to it. That's what I'm saying. Look, Qatar held the World Cup. Yeah. We all witnessed the vicious attacks that were meted out to them leading up to
the World Cup.
Did you ever hear China talk?
We don't have time.
No.
Guess who is the winner in this World Cup?
I'm sure
China. They didn't even play, but they won. And I'm telling you, I'll prove to you that they won. Every business regarding this World Cup went to a Chinese company. Go and check. Every business, all the stadia, major stadia were constructed by China Electric Company. What's the name of the company? Let me check.
No worries. I'll find it for you.
Radiohead's vacuum.
No, it was China Railway Construction Corporation.
Oh, they are here. They are building plenty things in Ghana.
They built all the stadia.
They are building plenty things in Ghana.
They were brilliant, lovely
when they did the
construction.
final one, no.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Charlie, don't go there. Go to the what called even the buses that they used.
They brought them.
Yutong buses by China. They built almost 1,000 buses specially for the World Cup. China is winning. Hydraulic power.
Yeah. Because Qatar needed to get their rail system working.
Power Construction Corporation of China. They provided that one too. Charlie,
you have a long list too.
Oh, I say everything. Even the reservoir for water, providing clean water, was constructed by Gazuba Group from Wuhan, China.
Hey, like that Western.
Look, everything that stadium 974.
The one with the containers.
The one that they've removed.
Yes, was constructed by China International Marine Containers Company. They want everything, and we still don't see the business in football. That every major region in Ghana has a stadium, and we think that is just for beautification. Go to secondary stadium.
Sipon.
The current state of the secondary stadium.
It's in tatters. And that one had a hotel that was never completed.
And I'm saying that we don't see that the youth unemployment there, that stadium alone, that one alone, can change the issue of youth unemployment in secondary. And everybody is speaking English. Speaking big English. And then they want to address every event, somebody wants to speak English to address. You know, I've never understood that thing. And I'm asking, but who takes notes? Why, Sky, you've been to all these things. Anybody takes notes when they are giving the address? Papa, as you talk, people are in a hurry to leave you. So let's get working. It's 2023. Let's get working. Let's get serious. Me, I say that sports is one of the low-hanging fruits, especially football. And we can use it to advantage more than we have considered. And I do not think that youth development, football management should be left only in the hands of politicians.
There should be sports administrators, properly so-called, marketers, properly so-called, professional.
You need several people doing different things.
People with the mindset of Herbert Mensah. At least back in the day. I don't know about Herbert now. Back in the day, the kind of mindset that Herbert Mensah approached football with, you understand? You can't just come in and do business as usual. And look at Senegal. Look at how they are moving. Even the countries, the unsung countries in football on the continent, now they are rubbing shoulders with us. And we love football, we just don't see value in it. We've built the stadia and we've left things to rot. If you go to the stadium, you don't take something will just scratch your leg, you get a tetanus.
That's true.
So why can't we solve this simple equation? We are talking about manufacturing. Ghana, we have to do manufacturing. Who? You want to manufacture in this global economy? Who can you outdo? Which resources? Comparative advantage? Competitive advantage? We don't match up. We do not match up anywhere. Today, when I was a kid, you know, Ghana, we used to manufacture matches. We used to produce matches in Cedi. Cedi in the eastern region, they used to manufacture matches. The one you own a matches, not like a Sheliola. Yeah. Today, you don't even. You see what I'm saying is that it's a lot of things happening at the global level that we cannot control. And so when people talk about, and we have to do a lot more manufacturing, I'm asking, what manufacture what? For who to buy, at which price? You get me? Unless it's a key item that is unique to our country. The thing is, in a globalized world, there's not much you can do about prices as they come from other countries. As they come from other countries, some, if it's food for consumption, they are subsidized. They are heavily subsidized. The farmers are actually encouraged to do what they are doing because they have to feed their population. And then the excess, they export. And we use the small dollar we have to go and buy. We have sports, we have entertainment, we have tourism, and we are not making good sense out of these elements. We want to leave that one and go and do manufacturing, and we can never, ever be competitive. Anyway, we'll come out.
So listening to the Citi Breakfast Show. Coming up next is Your Money. our personal finance segment. And it's brought to us by CBG. CBG, we stand with you.
What I have to tell you for your money is basically to take care of your health, because we have a long year ahead of us. And the best way to make money is where you are healthy and are able to deploy your energy to earn money. So if you cannot take good care of your health by eating well, drinking well, and ensuring that you have an insurance cover that protects you and your family, you will be in serious trouble. So I would urge you this very moment to call up an insurance institution that is interested in protecting your health, so that you can insure yourself, insure your family, and in the end, you would have a successful 2023, hopefully.
That was your money, brought to you by CBG. CBG, we stand with you.
A bank that supports you, a bank that cares for you. Hand in hand, we stand with you. So lift your head up, big dreams are waiting. We'll walk with you wherever you go. Where all your dreams are alive, CBG will make you smile. We will rise with you. Your business will flourish, your name will stand out. Consolidated Bank, CBG. We stand with you.
Breakfast Show. Now, if you're thinking of going to school this year, Heritage Christian College is at Amasaman behind the Olympic Stadium. You should consider them. They're accredited by GTech, affiliated to KNUST. They've got BBA programs, BSc Information Technology, Bachelor of Theology, tutorials for professional programs, and media and IT short courses. They've got scholarships. They've got great faculty. Call them on 0547 777 or 0202 298 This January, they have a 50% tuition waiver for all January 2023 fresh students. Heritage Christian College offering world-class university education and training compassionate entrepreneurial leaders. If you want to head out to Canada, speak to Askia Immigration Consulting Services. They will help you discover everything you need to know. Find them at number 1 Airport Square, Airport City, Accra, Ghana, adjacent Holiday Inn Hotel, or visit their website askiaimmigration.com for free consultation, or you can call 0506 012 289 or 0241 318 890 or 0595 449054, or email welcome@askiaimmigration.com. Askia Immigration Consulting Services, the joy of greatness for your journey to Canada. The special prosecutor, or the office of the special prosecutor, so they've put out their report looking at what they've done in the last half year. Very interesting things. Some of the things we know, some of the things made front pages. Others did not make front pages, but it was still, or those things were still covered by the OSP in terms of its fight against corruption. And the fight against corruption has been happening for years. There are those who believe that we are not winning. There are those who believe we are making some progress. But the OSP's report is out, or the half-year report, just detailing some of the things that's been, some of the things that have been happening. Richard, you've been going through the report. What exactly is the OSP saying and telling Ghanaians on its mandate in terms of fighting corruption and corruption-related offences?
Well, basically, I mean, you know that the Ronaldo administration, when they came into office, decided to hive off, the rule of fighting corruption in the courts and other places from the Aegis Department and related institutions, like, for instance, the IOCO, and then to a large extent, because, Shraj is not exactly prosecutorial, and then create an office and give that mandate to them, which is now the office of the special prosecutor. Now, you would note that the Act establishing the office of the special prosecutor 2017 basically provides specific mandates that the office would have to carry out. And also, if you look at Section 3.3 of that particular act, there is an obligation imposed upon the special prosecutor to prepare, half-year report and then make that available to, the public. And then, they also report to Parliament as to exactly what they're doing. So this particular report basically deals with that. And if you look at the preface of the document, for instance, the special prosecutor says that in pursuance of Section 3.3 or Section 3, Subsection 3 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, Act 959, I present to you the second half-yearly report under my tenure as Special Prosecutor. Okay. Now, this report offers an insight into the corruption cases investigated and prosecuted by the Office of the Special Prosecutor and the highlights of activities undertaken by the Office between the 1st of August 2022 and the 1st of December 2022. And something he says, that notwithstanding continuous debilitating financial and material constraints and the non-issuance of its establishment budget, the OSP has performed its fourfold functions of investigating, prosecuting, asset recovering, and preventing corruption and corruption-related offences commendably. Now, the impact of the operations of the OSP resonates in all provinces of life. It goes on to say that we are conscious of the practical consideration that we cannot snuff out corruption. There is force in that reckoning. However, as we apply well-structured systems, technology, and intelligence-led operations, we are rendering corruption a highly risky enterprise for the criminally minded. And he goes on to say, as we firm up the drive against corruption, and our message is registered strongly in the minds of people that sooner or later they will be arrested, prosecuted, and their assets seized and confiscated to the state, the incidence of corruption will surely decline. Now, this will restore confidence, promote the rule of law, and assure fairness and justice. And then it concludes by saying that we have a wonderful opportunity here to change the discourse on the fight against corruption, and we get things effectively and efficiently working. I invite all sectors of the economy and individuals to support the OSP in its vision of rendering corruption costly and unattractive in all its forms through sustained repression and suppression. So the question is, what are the key, developments and some of the things that they highlighted in this particular report? So, for instance, they dealt with there's a section for introduction. There's also a section for developments that have happened since. Then there are cases which they basically are presently investigating or prosecuting. And then those that investigations have concluded, cases relating to ongoing investigations, and it goes on to deal with many other things, and then comes with a conclusion. So let me just highlight some of the key cases that they have been dealing with. So, for instance, if you go to the area of prosecutions, the document says that there has not been any convictions or acquittals in respect of cases pending before the criminal courts during the period under review.
Okay.
Now,
so meaning that the cases are ongoing.
Exactly. There has not been, determination or termination of these cases. Now, the two criminal cases are being tried before the courts are: one, the Republic versus Ajeni Boateng Ej and another. Now, you know that this case has to do with the trial of former Chief Executive Officer of the Procurement Authority and his brother-in-law, and it is pending before the Criminal Division of the High Court. Now, you know that he's been charged with 8 counts of using public office for profit and 9 counts of directly and indirectly influencing the procurement process to obtain an unfair advantage in the award of public contracts. Now, his brother-in-law, however, is charged with 1 count of using public office for profit. Now, the other case has to do with Alexander Kwabena Safo Katanka, the DC nominee in the Ashanti region, who allegedly paid money to voters in order to get their vote at the district assembly, in order to become what they call a district chief executive, a municipal chief executive, actually. You know, he's facing 26 counts of corruption in respect of that particular matter. So those are the 2 cases currently before the courts. We will only urge that perhaps the OSP would have to work fast enough to ensure that they secure a determination before the courts, and then we get on with our lives. Because the one relating to the other guy, the MC, not the MC, the procurement chief. I mean, it's traveling some distance, and perhaps would have to. The court should help with that.
That's almost 2 years old now.
Exactly. And then the 2 other high-profile ones on which investigations have concluded, the Charles Bisiu matter, the gentleman in the office of the president who was supposed to have been caught on camera accepting what is alleged to be bribes from Tiger Eye PFOs. That matter, I'm told that investigations have concluded, and later this particular month, prosecution will begin. So we expect that to happen later this month. And then also another one that will most likely be prosecuted today, later this particular month, is the one having to do with the Northern Development Authority. Here, the document says that the office has concluded investigation into suspected corruption and corruption-related offences in respect of a contract awarded by the Northern Development Authority to A&QS Consortium Limited for consultancy services under the Infrastructure for Poverty Reduction program, especially in respect of the quantum of the contract sum. Now, the special prosecutor or an authorized officer will issue directives and further action on this particular matter in due course.
Okay.
Then you also have, ongoing investigations and all of that.
Okay. So this is just a summary of what the OSP has been up to in the last few months.
They should pay them. Pay them.
Pay them. I think the big issue really there, it's the fact that they have some 20 or so odd staff who are doing the work that they are doing. I mean, and the tragedy is also that they have not been paid for 16 months or so. So look at this document that they have been able to produce, and there are investigations into allegations of bribery in Parliament, issues of electricity company related, procurement and all of that, illegal mining, Gaming Commission having issues. They are investigating all of these things. But you see, if you don't give them the money that they need and the staff and the related logistics, how would they be able to perform their mandate? So a government that is serious about protecting the public purse, because that was what the president claimed.
This is a flagship.
That we are better protectors of the public purse. If you are, we should show it. We should show work. And showing work also includes giving them the budget that they need to run that office. Like I said in the morning, there has been a commitment on the floor of Parliament that money will be provided. But the officer is complaining that although allocations are made, they are not released. So the releases must come, because these are men and women. They can go hungry too. And when people go hungry, we know what people sometimes do. We are not saying they will do that, but
don't put them in that position.
That things are difficult for everybody.
All right, still listening to the Citi Breakfast Show. Remember, at 9 a.m. we have the Effective Living Series Day 3. And it's brought to us by Enterprise Motor Insurance. They've got the Enterprise Motor Insurance promo. Simply buy or renew your motor insurance with Enterprise and win instant gifts such as fuel coupons, branded gift items, and qualify for the monthly raffle draws with amazing rewards. What's more, you stand a chance of winning an iPhone 14, washing machine, high-pressure car washer, vacuum cleaner, auto tire inflator, and the final month, a premium crotch rocket motorbike. So call your insurance broker or agent or visit any Enterprise branch for your motor insurance and get free fuel coupons and be the possible winner of these amazing rewards that are in a monthly raffle draws from January to June. Now, this promo is regulated by the National Lottery Authority on the Caritas Lottery platform. T's and C's apply. Enterprise, your advantage. It's still the Citi Breakfast Show. Your thoughts and comments are welcome on 0549 986 996. Remember, at 9, we've got the Effective Living Series Day 3. Still talking about the fiscal preparations. So we continue our conversation. Today we're talking lifestyle diseases. All of that happening from 9 a.m. All right, let's move on. Before we get into the Effective Living series, let's talk some education. And the University of Ghana School of Law has made it its business to bring legal education to the doorsteps of every Ghanaian and also foreigners. Beginning this January, the University of Ghana School of Law is rolling out 19 twin programs in LLM and MA for everyone aspiring to seek greater academic heights, and we are privileged to have officials here to talk about these programs and why everybody should be excited. I've got several people here, but let me start with Professor Raymond Atuguba. He's somebody who knows the law very, very well. So I think he's in the best place to tell us a lot about these programs. And ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the Citi Breakfast Show. I trust we are fine. Happy New Year to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Professor Atuguba, let me start off with you. Why this initiative, and can you tell us what exactly these programs are and what the university is offering to those who are interested?
Great. So the main thing these programs seek to do is to provide more specialized training for persons who have, one, a degree in law,
Okay.
and want to do specialized training in particular areas of the law.
Okay.
The second, and for us the more important one, is to provide legal training to persons who do not have any previous formal background in law. That means anyone who has a degree in anything, mathematics, accounting, biology, to study the law related to particular areas of national endeavor or personal endeavor or business endeavor.
I see.
You realize that since 1992, when our constitution came into force, and for the last 30 years, there has been what I call the lawification of national life, where everything is supposed to be according to law. And people keep asking, is X, Y, Z legal or illegal? Is it legal for a deputy speaker who is presiding to vote? Is it legal to have a haircut? Is it legal to restructure debt? Is it legal to have X become president, or do we have to go for an election petition to verify the true winner of the elections?
Okay.
Everything is according to the law. The second thing is that the law is used not only as a shield, as I've just described, but also as a sword. What do I mean by that? We have now started weaponizing law and using it to fight our political, economic, and social battles.
Okay.
So I want to be an MP. My struggle doesn't only end with contesting. If I contest and lose, I turn to the law. And then I say, according to law, my opponent who won is an Ivorian national or a Burkinabe. Do you see? So you're using the law as a weapon. Because of this, everyone is rushing to law school. We used to be the only law school 20 years ago. We now have 17 of them. And we have thousands of LLB graduates all struggling to enter the law school. What we're saying is that you don't need to become a lawyer to be an expert on IT law. You don't need to become a lawyer to be an expert on commercial law or corporate law. You don't need to become a lawyer to be an expert on tax law. So let's say you work at GRA. You come and apply for our Master of Arts in tax law and policy. We teach you all of the law you need to know on tax law in Ghana. We even add international taxation to it for you. And before that, we take you through a basic course in law that teaches you about where the law comes from in Ghana, what constitutes the law, what is our legal system, how does the legal system operate, what do lawyers do, how do lawyers think. With that basic knowledge in law, you can then zoom into tax law and appreciate it better.
I see.
So that's the reason why we are mounting these programs. And let me emphasize, you don't need an LLB to do the masters.
Okay.
With any degree at all,
any degree,
you can come and do any of the 19 programs. Good. If you don't mind, I'll let Clara list the programs so that we know what's on offer.
Yeah, listeners, we also have Clara Kasati, who's a law lecturer. We have Kweku Bredu, who's a law lecturer as well, and Godwin Jokoto. They are all here in the studio. So, Madam, I think you can list.
Yes, so the 19 twin programs, and as Dean noted, they are twin programs because we have the LLM and we have the MA that is solely for non-lawyers or people without a law degree. They are corporate and commercial law, tax law, policy and practice, law and practice of public administration, national security law and practice, alternative dispute resolution, energy law, gender and the law, health law and ethics, human rights law and practice, information technology law, law and development, international law, labor law, financial markets law and regulation, law for micro, small and medium enterprises, law of the sea and ocean governance, maritime law, natural resources law, and paralegal practice.
I see. That's a lot, and it covers several things, a lot of the things that we discuss in the public domain. But are all these accredited? Are all these accredited? Thank you very much for that question. And we want to assure you, to report to you that indeed all the 19 programs of the LLM and the MA programs have all been duly accredited by the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, which is GTEC. And beyond that, they've also actually gone through a process within the university, starting from what we call the GPC, which is a general purpose, what do you call it? Committee. It's gone through what we call the SMC. We've also gone through the college and ended up at GTEC. Okay. So in terms of the quality assurance, it's gone through the entire process.
All of these things. Now, with the advent of technology, I'm just curious, do I have to be there in person? Are there other options? Assuming I'm so busy I can't make it physically, is there an online option for me to take?
Yeah, that's a good question. As you introduce the question, with the advent of technology, so definitely we are running these programs both as in person and online.
Okay.
And however, because we need students to interact with one another and challenge one another in thought concerning the various topics being treated, so we are encouraging that the first 2 weeks be in person, and somewhere in the middle, about 2 weeks in the middle of the semester, in person, and then at the end.
At the end, okay.
Okay, so yes, there's a facility for both in person and online.
I see.
Yes, and if I may, then let me add the issue of should I miss a class?
Yes.
Okay, how do I handle it? Once University of Ghana uses Microsoft Teams for our online teaching. And once you are a student of the university, you have an official account with Teams.
Teams, okay.
So when a class is over, if you are unable to attend, you can always go back to the recording. Even though, yes, we encourage that try and be there as in person. If you cannot, join online. So the third option is if you can't do any of these two, the class is recorded and available.
Okay, great. Now, for those who, yes, you wanted to add something.
It's just a little bit I want to add to this discussion, which has to do with the fact that we have several international partnerships. So that in terms of the teaching faculty, we're going to have from within the school, outside of the school, and internationally.
I see.
And if you take a subject like the law of the sea and ocean governance, of which I'm the coordinator, what you will find is that we have an existing partnership with the Arctic University in Norway.
Okay.
And when there's a center called the Norwegian Center for the Law of the Sea. So we'll be collaborating with them for the purposes of running this particular program. So there are times you could come down or do it by way electronically.
Wonderful. Now, for those who want to be there and be punctual and see the physical class and experience the physical class, what time are the classes? What times do the classes take place, and where exactly will they be held in terms of the lectures?
So the Citi campus, Accra City campus, is the venue that we have. It's simply because the bulk, we expect the bulk of students to come from work areas like the courts, like the ministries, like lawyers. So proximity
businesses
to
as well.
and businesses
as well.
So proximity to them is important. That's the reason why we are not using the University of Ghana campus. We are using the Accra City campus. And obviously, one question that comes up is the standard, the quality. Are we meeting the standard, the quality that we have on the University of Ghana campus? Yes. We've worked with the Accra City campus, worked with University of Ghana officials to make sure that the facilities on the campus are upgraded. Talking about the timing, the Monday through Thursday, we have 1 hour for tutorial compulsory for everybody, which is 5 to 6 p.m. And then 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. will be the lectures.
Okay.
So that's Monday through Thursday, except on Fridays where we have double sessions. So the first session is 2 to 5 p.m., which is 2 to 3 for tutorial, 3 to 5 for lecture. And then the second session is 5 to 6 for tutorial and 6 to 8 for the lectures.
For the lecture, great. So somebody is listening. This is great. It's all well and good. What are the entry requirements?
For the entry requirement, it's a first degree in any field.
Any field at all?
Any field at all. Just a first degree in any field. We are looking at minimum second lower upwards. If someone has a third class, they can still apply. We have opportunity even for those who have a third class, but there will be an interview so that we can assess how well the person will be able to follow the course and all of that. So minimum a first degree in any field. And we should add that apart from the international collaborations, we also have collaborations with industry. So this isn't just looking purely at academics. We are also looking at industry and their businesses. So for personal development, even for the applicants, if you look at the structure of the course, it covers everything that individually the applicants will benefit greatly from the programs.
Great. Now, so this is happening. Professor Tukuba, you mentioned people want to go to Makola and all of that. For somebody who goes through this, what does it mean for them, assuming they want to pursue that path of going through the conventional law school at Makola? What happens to such a person?
The person will definitely have an advantage because the person will be introduced to law. But that person will still have to do the full cycle to become a lawyer.
Okay.
This one doesn't make you a lawyer. Yes.
Okay.
Our colleagues would also address that when they come.
Okay, great. Just final bits, deadline for registration and the cost. Somebody is wondering, okay, I like this, I'm interested. How much is it going to cost me? Okay.
Our colleagues can.
Okay, great. I think we can get those done. But great, it's wonderful chatting with you. I had Professor Raymond Atuguba here. We also had who's a law lecturer. We also had Kweku Boedu, law lecturer. We had Godwin Jokoto, law lecturer, and Clara Kasati, who's a law lecturer. Just telling us a bit more about the University of Ghana School of Law and their new plan to roll out 19 twin programs in LLM and MAs for those who want to get specific legal education in specified areas, just so you are a better professional and you are better versed. All right, let's keep the conversation going. All right, let's keep the conversation going. We've still been joined by some other friends. Let me get their names and then we'll continue our conversation on that. I have a gentleman and two ladies. Welcome to the Citi Breakfast Show. Happy New Year to everybody.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Okay, great. So we got some great info from the lecturers. Let's just get on what any additional piece of info you may want to add to what has been said already.
Okay, well, I think Prof and the team, the earlier team that were here, have done a wonderful job in terms of articulating the various course offerings, the reason behind the courses and all, and the fact that you do not necessarily have to have a bachelor's of law in order to be eligible to apply for this program, and I think that needs to be re-emphasized. A few things that probably we may want to add in terms of the issues of cost. And I know that sometimes people always say that, how much would it cost me to pursue this master's program? And how are the payment terms like? Okay. And given the fact that now University of Ghana has come out with, as it were, a publication on
the new fees.
The new fees are. I know this is a very important issue for many. And so in terms of the entire cost of the program, is approximately 25,000 Ghana cedis for everything, for the entire course. So you have a breakdown.
Which is what, a year or two?
A year.
Okay.
A year. So you have a breakdown of the fees being about 22,400 for admission and other processes. And so we are envisaging that some little cost that may come up to it, you are looking at not spending more than 25,000 for the duration of the program. And I think the unique thing about this first cohort is that they are completing in a record time of 8 months.
8 months?
Because they are not going on the vacation, the long vacation as we know it. So you have the course start in January, somewhere by August. We should see them coming to an end of the program. That's also one thing that the first entrants have as something that they can look out for. For non-Ghanaians, I think the fee is about 9,178 USD. And all the information that you need, you can find it on our website on law.ug.edu.gh.
All right, listen, so that was William Kofi Owusu-Demitia. He's a lecturer. I also have Zena Bayariga, who's a lecturer, and Rachel Hazel, also a lecturer. Ladies, welcome. I don't know what other bits you may want to add.
I'd also emphasize that the program is 1 year. I mean, a lot of people know how long it takes to complete any law program, but this LLM Masters program is just a year. Just a year. So you'll be graduating, as my colleague said, in 8 to 9 months. We are done with the program. You have your degree, and then you become a specialist in any of the courses that you selected. Another thing I want to talk about is the admission process.
Okay.
It is fairly easy. You just go to our website and then click on the LLM MA icon. You just do the necessary application, submit the required documents, and after that, you'll be invited for interviews. Another thing I'd want to talk about is the fact that this MA LLM program admission process does not require writing exams. I know a lot of people are terrified of writing exams. I mean, as a lecturer myself, I'm scared of the idea of writing exams. But here, we're not conducting any exams for our applicants. It's just an interview. So for our people who are terrified, our applicants out there who are terrified of writing exams, I mean, you completed school 10, 15 years ago, you do not want to write exams. We are going to exempt you from that stress. So just the application process, submit the documents, and then we would invite you for an interview.
Okay, let's wrap it up with any news on the deadline. Somebody's listening and is wondering, is it past the deadline? When can I apply? Where can I pick up a form? And all of those things.
Okay, so presently, due to demands that have been made on the school, we've extended the deadline, which was previously the 31st of December 2022 to the 31st of January 2022. We still have 2023, thank you. We have pending applications, and we expect that they will be completed by that time. And for anyone who is out there who is still interested in enlarging their network, business contacts, acquiring functional knowledge and expertise in these areas, they should not hesitate to pick up a form, and they can easily do that on our website. If they could quickly go to law.ug.edu.gh. I'll take it again, law.ug.edu.gh.
Okay, that's where they can find the form.
They can find the form.
Download it.
Every information we are presenting here is there. As a matter of fact, all the brochures to all the 19 twin courses are available. The cost elements, procedures for application, every single detail is thorough.
We are not doing paper applications, so everything is online. I mean, it's a seamless process. You start and you finish. You upload your documents. Everything is in a portal, and we will do the vetting online. Even when you come for the interviews, those who came for the last one, you realize that we stopped the paper documents. Just cross-checking your actual certificates and all, but everything we try to, because we are in a technological age, try to have that as part of it. And as we emphasize, we need to let people know you do not necessarily have to have a degree in law to apply. If you have a master's degree with a good pass, as we've indicated, in very exceptional circumstances, third class, but second class lower and above, you are able to apply, and then we'll consider your application for the various specialized offerings that are being given.
Great, wonderful. Thank you so much. We had William Kofi Owusu-Demitia, is a law lecturer, Zena Bayariga, also a lecturer, and Rachel Hazel, also a lecturer. We've been talking about the University of Ghana's new initiative they want to introduce, or they have actually introduced 19 twin programs in LLM and MAs.
Yes, so for those who may experience any form of challenges or they may have questions, please contact our admission support at the Secretariat. You can call Naomi on 024475 997. I take it again, 024475 997. Or you can call Veronica on 0244 656985. You can also pass by our secretariat at the UG School of Law, and they are more than willing to assist you. Or you can also send us an email, and we will assist you with your admission process.
Okay. And what's the email address? Can you just give us that if you have it?
You can contact us UG School of Law at ug.edu.gh.
Okay.
So UG School of Law at edu.gh.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much. I'm sure lots and lots of people will be very interested in doing this. Thank you so much. We had William Kofi Osudemitia, Zainab Bayariga, and Rachel Hazel. They are all lecturers at the University of Ghana School of Law. So you heard it. You can call 0244 75 997 just to find out what exactly is going on. If this is something you like, sign up. And they are saying it's online. No more carrying of papers. No. It's online. Apply. And if you get through, great. Wonderful. Guys, it's been fun chatting with you, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show. We'll take a very quick break. When we come back, it's day 3 of our Effective Living series. Today we are talking lifestyle diseases. When we come back, we'll head straight into the Effective Living series.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Man, I've just been busy these last few weeks. My company has asked me to
Welcome to day 3 of our Effective Living series 2023. Today we are talking understanding lifestyle diseases. Bernard Avila will be speaking with Dr. Yakoba Tiase, Senior Lecturer, University of Ghana Medical School and Head of the National Diabetes Management and Research Center. Remember that the Effective Living series is brought to us by Enterprise Motor Insurance. They've got the motor insurance promo, and they say simply buy or renew your motor insurance with Enterprise and win instant gifts such as floor coupons, branded gift items, and you qualify for the monthly raffle draw with amazing rewards. Wait no more. Call your insurance broker, agent, or visit any enterprise branch for your motor insurance. Get free fuel coupons and be the possible winner of these amazing rewards at the end of the period, ending our monthly draws between January and June. This promo is regulated by the National Lottery Authority on the Caritas Lottery platform. T's and C's apply. Enterprise is your advantage. Well, let's get into day 3 of Effective Living series. Today we are talking about understanding lifestyle diseases.
Welcome to another edition of your Effective Living series, coming to you on Citi FM and Citi TV. My name is Bernard Avle. This first week we're looking at the physical preparation for the year 2023 under the broad theme of 2023 Starter Pack. Today we're talking about lifestyle diseases, and we'll zero in on one of the commonest, diabetes. My guest is a consultant endocrinologist and diabetologist. It's just a powerful thing. She is also the head of the National Diabetes Management and Research Center, author as well of this wonderful book called Let's Talk Diabetes. I'll tell you more about this book later. Dr. Yakob Asante, good to have you.
Thank you, Bernard.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
So lifestyle diseases are very common these days. We read about them in the newspapers, but what do they mean for those of us who are not doctors and science? When you say lifestyle disease, what do you mean by that?
Well, when we talk about a lifestyle disease, it's a disease that you get by your daily habits, what you do or what you don't do. Because there are things we must do and there are things we shouldn't do.
Okay.
And so there are sometimes you can get some of these diseases just because of what you do habitually or repeatedly, or what you do not do habitually or repeatedly. And
what has the difference in that and non-communicable diseases?
Well, most of the non-communicable diseases, are lifestyle diseases. So.
Okay. So as against infectious diseases?
Yes. Infectious disease, you don't have much control over it. Somebody gets something, they infect you.
So COVID is an infectious disease?
An infectious disease. You can't help, but you can have a husband living with you who has a lifestyle disease, but you choose to do the right thing, and you won't get that particular lifestyle disease.
So as Captain Planet said, in lifestyle disease, the power is yours.
It is yours, really.
Okay. So what are the general types of lifestyle diseases or examples of lifestyle diseases?
Well, there are many lifestyle diseases, but we can mention a few. The commonest, let's say, are what we call the broad group of diseases called cardiovascular diseases. And cardiovascular diseases are diseases of the heart and the blood vessels in the body. In addition to that, we have diseases like obesity. Years ago, we didn't think obesity was a disease. We thought obesity was a symptom of, a disease. But now we realize that obesity in itself is a disease on its own because it has complications. Then we have diseases like type 2 diabetes, and I'm sure we'll come to that later on. We have diseases like some cancers actually are lifestyle diseases. For example, if you smoke, you are prone or you're at risk of getting lung cancer. So some cancers can be lifestyle diseases. Then we have diseases like chronic respiratory diseases. Can also, they are also non-communicable diseases, but also can be lifestyle disease because one of the commonest respiratory diseases that we call chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, is common in people who smoke as well. So, the list is long, but...
So under cardiovascular, I'm guessing high blood pressure, strokes,
heart attacks
are under the cardiovascular diseases.
Cardiovascular.
Then obesity is
on its own.
And type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
You distinguish type 2 from the other types.
Yes.
Which means that type 1 is not
a lifestyle.
It's more like hereditary.
Yes.
Then you have you mentioned the fourth one.
COPD.
Chronic respiratory something.
Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
For those who smoke.
Yes.
I see. Which of these is the commonest of all the lifestyle diseases you mentioned? What is the common in Ghana?
Well, I think cardiovascular disease will be the commonest. Generally. But the highest contributor of cardiovascular disease is probably type 2 diabetes.
Hey, so type 2 is also contributing to cardiovascular.
Yes.
Whilst it's standing on its own as well.
It's standing on its own, but it feeds heavily into cardiovascular disease. And so we must look at that very carefully.
I see. Again, while we're in this corridor of lifestyle cardiovascular, so what are the general lifestyles that predispose a person to, say, cardiovascular diseases?
Well, we can start with physical activity.
Okay.
physical activity is very, very important in preventing a lot of cardiovascular and other lifestyle diseases. Let's say I'm a Christian, so let's take the story of Genesis. In the beginning, when we were put in the Garden of Eden, I don't think we were meant to sit down like this. What were we meant to do? We're supposed to tend the farms, move, chase the cheetahs and the lions and keep them, you know. But unfortunately or fortunately, now we find ourselves in a situation where we sit for long hours. And you get home tired. You've been working. It's just that you haven't been active. And so physical inactivity is a very major risk factor in lifestyle diseases.
Okay.
Our food is also an important risk factor.
Okay.
What we eat, what we shouldn't eat, what we are eating too much of becomes very important in lifestyle diseases. And I'm sure you would have discussed it earlier. We can touch briefly on it if necessary.
Yeah. And of course, what you inhale.
What you inhale, what you smoke, what you drink.
What you drink.
What you drink is important. Okay.
Brilliant. Let's come to diabetes.
Right.
Generally, when I was young, they said, oh, if you eat sugar, you get diabetes. So don't eat too much sugar. That's what I was told. But I'm told that's not actually what it is. It's more nuanced than that. So what is diabetes? Why are there types of diabetes?
So diabetes just means that you have a lot of blood sugar in your blood. And you get blood sugar being high because there's something in your body that must cater for your blood sugar that doesn't work properly. Anytime we eat, the food is converted to glucose and it's in our blood. Something must take the blood glucose or the glucose from the blood and give it to the body, give it to the muscles, give it to the heart, give it to every part of the body needs this blood sugar. And that thing is called insulin. When you have a problem with insulin, then you get your sugar remains high, and people call it, or it's called starvation in the midst of plenty. So there's blood sugar, there's high blood sugar. Meanwhile, the rest of the body that needs the sugar is starving because there's a defect in insulin. Either you don't have any insulin at all, or you don't have enough insulin, or you have insulin, but it just doesn't work properly. And that sort of clarifies, you know, the types.
So to get this point, most food you eat converts to glucose. Glucose must be absorbed into your system. Insulin is what helps that to happen.
Yes, so insulin moves it from the blood, away from the blood into the tissues.
Creates the key.
Yes.
Now, if insulin is absent, the glucose cannot enter.
Yes.
If insulin is in small quantities,
some will enter, but most of it will be in blood.
Or if insulin is there, but it's not working well.
Yes.
So that's why. So which one is type 1 diabetes, which one is type 2, which one is type?
So the type 1 diabetes are those who do not have insulin at all. And usually because the production site of insulin, called the pancreas, has been destroyed by the body's own antibodies. Now, we all have antibodies. If you've had COVID before, you probably have antibodies to COVID. And so for some unknown reason, the body now forms antibodies against the pancreas, which is a factory of insulin production, and destroys it. And so in type 1 diabetes, they often do not have insulin at all. And so the sugar just stays in the blood and doesn't feed the body.
So what does the sugar feeding the body do? Is that what makes you able to move and get energy?
The sugar in our body, or the glucose in our body, is the body's fuel. That is what we run on. Without glucose, your body doesn't, function properly. You can't function properly.
If the system doesn't absorb the glucose, even though there's sugar in your body, it's not helping you to do anything.
That's why I say that it's called starvation in the midst of plenty. Just like having a tank full of fuel, but you don't have, I'm not sure whether it's transmitters or the pump or something isn't working very well.
So the pancreas is what produces the insulin.
Yes.
And in type 1 diabetes, is type 1 diabetes hereditary?
Yes, largely hereditary.
So it's nothing to do with your lifestyle?
No.
Initially, I see. What percentage of diabetes in Ghana is type 1?
Generally, we say that about 10%, 8 to 10% of diabetes is type 1.
Okay.
And about 90% is type 2.
Ooh. Which one is type 2 diabetes then?
So type 2 diabetes is why we are here. It's the one that is a lifestyle disease. It's because of largely, even though there's a very big family component or a genetic component, largely there's something you can do about type 2 diabetes, especially if you are inactive, you have a sedentary lifestyle, you're not eating right, you are overweight or obese, you have hypertension, you have some of the other risk factors. And type 2 can be, you can do something about type 2 diabetes. But type 1 There isn't much
you can do to prevent
Yeah.
it. This is the Effective Living series, and we're talking lifestyle diseases. My guest is Dr. Yakoba Tiasi. We're discussing generally lifestyle diseases, but I'm zeroing on type 2 diabetes. Not just because she has a beautiful book about it, it's almost like a self-help book, but it's because the more knowledge you have, the longer you live. Apparently, this is a quote in the book. So I'm told that there was a quote you said that somebody said knowledge is one of the treatments for diabetes, and the person said no, knowledge is the main treatment.
Yes.
So the more information you have, the better your lifestyle. So you've spoken about diet, spoken about exercise. So if you talk about type 2, can you elaborate on the lifestyles that predisposes a person to get type 2 diabetes?
So some of the lifestyle, things that we do that can predispose you to type 2 diabetes, we've said it already, is being sedentary. Also, often, we don't eat right. We have high carbohydrate meals, very high in fats, very little protein. We don't eat fruits and vegetables. And these are important to prevent type 2 diabetes. There are many other things, too much alcohol drinking, and recently it's been even said that poor sleep, if you don't sleep properly, it can predispose you to type 2 diabetes.
Wow.
So when it comes to lifestyle, what do we do every day? Every day we eat, every day we move, every day we sleep. The very things, the basic things that we do every day, we must do them right. Otherwise, we expose ourselves to getting some
When you say carbohydrates, I think you need to elaborate a bit, because I think one of the previous speakers was talking about macronutrients and micronutrients. She was talking about, like, for example, she said kinky is not the same as rice in that conversation, and white rice is not the same as brown rice. So apparently, even with food, there are different types of carbohydrates and what they do. I just wanted to touch a bit on that. So in Ghana, generally, we eat a lot of carbohydrates.
Yes,
so mostly big fufu, soup around it with a lot of meat. The food doesn't look green at all. Is there any formula for good diet that helps you to reduce your predisposition to type 2 diabetes?
So what I'm coming to tell you is what we actually tell patients to eat in terms of diet. And that is what everybody must do to prevent diabetes. Generally, if you take a plate of food, about a quarter of it must be carbohydrates.
Oh, just 1/4?
Yes.
Serious?
Then about half, thereabout, should be vegetables and, a bit of fruits. Then you can have a little bit, the other quarter being protein and a little bit of fat.
Serious?
And with the carbohydrates, we have the ones that are preferred, the complex carbohydrates, the unrefined carbohydrates. These are broken down very slowly and will raise your blood sugar also slowly, compared to the polished or refined carbohydrates like polished rice or a fizzy drink. It's all carbohydrates to be converted into sugar very rapidly. And so, and very high. Your sugar levels will go very high. So those ones are preferred. And I'm sure that's why the person before me, the diet therapist, said that not all carbohydrates are the same. Because yes, we have the refined carbohydrates and the unrefined carbohydrates. And you must choose the unrefined as much as possible.
So the unrefined ones are what you call in the book slow-release carbohydrates.
Slow-release
brown rice, wholemeal, bread, kinky wheat, and oats.
Yes.
Whereas the fast-release carbohydrates are usually sugary carbohydrates, digested quickly and absorbed rapidly, raising blood glucose to higher levels. So that if you are having challenges with your insulin, then you are going to suffer more.
Yes.
And then you talk about fizzy drinks, sugary biscuits, cakes, sweets, ripe plantain, and white rice. Then you said something which really struck me in your discussion of carbohydrates, I think in fats. You said there are also two types of fats, monosaturated oils and polysaturated fats, as in one is better than the other.
So we have the saturated and non-saturated fats. Even with the non-saturated or unsaturated fats, we have the mono and the poly. And so you must distinguish between the two. I'm not a dietitian, but if you see a dietitian or a nutritionist, they'll take you through it. And in the book, I advise that don't just take a book. This is not supposed to be a consultation. You still need a dietitian. The diet therapists are very important in managing your health.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I went to see a nutritionist, and I was surprised because I thought I knew it all. But I was surprised. She managed to teach me a few tricks. I found out at the time that my carbohydrate intake wasn't that much, but I think my food was generally oily, and I was using the wrong kind of fats. So it's important that you see a dietitian to help you.
I know, but on page 27, there's something I like there. So you distinguish between polyunsaturated fats found in plant oils like vegetable oil and sunflower oil. And then you said monounsaturated fats are found in olive oil and mostly nuts and oil. And they are the most beneficial fats, and you must consume fat. So basically you're saying olive oil and nuts and oils are better than vegetable and sunflower oil. And then you said the worst type of fat is called trans fat.
Trans fat.
And that too much of it will raise your bad cholesterol, increase your risk of heart disease and other health problems. So you mentioned cholesterol now, and you said bad cholesterol. What is that?
So cholesterol, oftentimes people are told that you have cholesterol in your body, so watch your diet. I must say here that most of the cholesterol in the body is produced in the liver. The body produces itself. We just tell you to reduce what you are taking to, about the 10%, cut down on that. There are different types of cholesterol. We have the high density lipoprotein or high density cholesterol, which is supposed to be the good fat, which mops up the bad fat or the bad cholesterol. And we have the low density lipoprotein, which is what actually lines the blood vessels and predispose you to heart attacks and strokes and peripheral vascular disease, amongst other things. So these ones the low density lipoprotein must be reduced, and the high density lipoprotein, as much as possible, must come up because they have different roles in the body.
Finally, here, before we move something, I'll say that overheating oil and repeated use of oil can lead to trans fat formation. Trans fat is the worst kind of fat for your health. Too much of it will raise your bad cholesterol. So those of you like frying yam 20 times in the same oil or kelewele or whatever, that's not a very good thing. Now let's talk about prediabetes. So you said there's type 1, which is hereditary. You can't do anything about it. Type 2 is lifestyle. But you also mentioned what is prediabetes?
So in prediabetes, your blood sugar is higher than normal, but it's not as high as the cutoff we give for patients with diabetes. Unfortunately, even with prediabetes, your risks for some of the complications of diabetes remain high. And so you must do something about it. Thankfully, prediabetes is potentially reversible. You can do something about it. And that is why I guess we are here, because you can actually reverse, you can come back from prediabetes to the normal range just by your lifestyle changes. Watching your diet, exercising, being more physically active can reduce your risk of progression from prediabetes to type 2 diabetes. And I say somewhere that most patients who have type 2 diabetes had prediabetes at some point in their lifetime, and they could have, come back to normal. So if you have prediabetes, it's not minor. And oftentimes people come and say, somebody told me that I was borderline, but they didn't tell me what to do. Well, if somebody tells you that you are borderline, you have to do something about it. Ask them, so how do I reverse it? And you can reverse it by your lifestyle changes, increasing your physical activity, watching your diet, losing weight if you're overweight or obese, and hopefully, you can reduce your chances of progressing to type 2 diabetes.
So prediabetes is reversible through these things you've mentioned. Now, when you talk of risk factors for diabetes, generally you've mentioned family history of diabetes and then dietary habits and that kind of thing. Now, how do you know your status, whether it's type 1, type 2, or prediabetes? How do you know that you have that? What do you use to tell?
So the doctor will decide. We have blood tests that we can use to determine whether you are type 1 or type 2. Although even in practice, we don't use those labs very much. We can use your clinical, how you presented, your age, for example. Type 1 diabetes is usually found in young adults, but elderly people are now getting type 1 diabetes.
Wow.
Type 2 usually is found in elderly people, but currently, young children, teenagers are getting type 2 diabetes because all these lifestyle things we are mentioning are becoming predominant in young children. Years ago, you hardly find children who are obese or inactive because kids used to play pillow and high jump and all those things. Now, what do kids love to do? They love to sit behind a screen, and if you leave them, they can play video games from morning till night. And so kids are becoming prone to type 2 diabetes as well as as well as adults. So, but there are other risk factors. There are risk factors that you can't do anything about. Age is a risk factor. Every day your risk of getting lifestyle disease like type 2 diabetes is getting higher because you are aging. Okay, there's nothing you can do about it. If you are male, your risk of cardiovascular disease and other lifestyle diseases is probably higher. There's nothing you can do about it. But there are things we are talking about that are reversible, potentially reversible, and you can do something about it. If you are overweight or obese, this is a time to consider highly putting in measures to reduce your weight and getting your weight back to normal so that you reduce your risk of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease.
This is still the Effective Living series. We're talking to Dr. Yakoba Atiase, who is a consultant endocrinologist and a diabetologist. By the way, what do those things mean?
So endocrine is a disease of the glands. So I do that. Diabetes is just one disease of one gland, which is the pancreas.
So the endocrine system, which we learned in school, there are many of those glands.
There are many glands, yes.
So the endocrine system is where you have pancreas. What else do you have in the endocrine system?
You have adrenal.
Pituitary gland.
Pituitary gland, adrenal.
Adrenaline gland, yeah.
Even the ovaries produce hormones. Testes produce hormones. So we deal with that. But diabetes is probably the commonest endocrine disease. The thyroid. I'm sure you know the thyroid, where people have a goiter, yes. So we deal with that. But the diabetes and the pancreas.
So you are a specialist in the endocrine system, and then you also diabetes is your specialty, and you're the head of the National Diabetes Management and Research Center.
Yes.
Is this at Kolebu?
It's at Kolebu.
Wow. So there's a whole research area for diabetes.
Yes.
Wonderful. So let's come back to. I have some FAQs in your book. And by the way, where can I get this book to buy? I like the book.
It's going to be in all shops from next week. You should find it in any.
So I have it before the other people have it.
Yes, but it should be available in all.
Now you said something here. You said Elliot Jocelyn, the first American diabetes specialist, is quoted to have said, "Education is not a part of the treatment of diabetes; it is the treatment." Decades later, this quote is still relevant and true. Can you elaborate on this?
Well, oftentimes we tell patients, take your medicine, do this, do this. They're given a tall list of things they must do. I think that diabetes really, if you understand the disease and know why you must do what you must do, it becomes easy. And that becomes a cornerstone of your treatment. You know why you must exercise, so you exercise, not out of compulsion because your doctor says you must exercise. If you do it out of compulsion, within 2 weeks, you've given up. But if you really understand why you must do what you must do, then it becomes a habit. And once it's a habit, it's not painful. It's not done because under duress, and then it helps you generally. And so this quote I put in there because I still find that for chronic diseases, especially diabetes, you need to understand why you must do certain things. But it's not only for diabetes. I think for most chronic disease, hypertension, HIV, you must understand your disease. You must know why your doctor says you should do this so that it's easier for you to do.
That's why I refer to it as a self-managed illness.
It's a self-managed illness.
So you said the management of diabetes is like a four-legged table with four legs: education, dietary modification, exercise, and medication. It's interesting. Medication has been the last.
Yes.
That's extraordinary because usually you think when you go to a doctor, give me medicine. But you're basically saying educate yourself, look at your diet, talk to your dietitian, increase your physical activity, then you take the medication.
You take the medication.
So all of this together.
Yes.
Amazing. All right, what is insulin and why do people who have diabetes inject themselves?
Remember I said that anytime we eat, the food is converted to glucose.
Yeah.
Now, insulin is a hormone or is a chemical that is produced in a certain part of the body called the pancreas. And it moves from the pancreas to the blood and moves the glucose into the tissues, into the muscles where glucose is actually needed. When you have glucose in blood, it's toxic. You shouldn't have high levels of glucose in blood. Too much of it becomes, a poison in the system. So most of the glucose must be sent to the tissues of the body for the tissues to function well. So insulin basically is a hormone that moves glucose from blood into tissues. And in the book I describe it, and it's well known. I didn't write that. It's something that is well known that insulin is actually the key that opens the vessels, the cells of the body for glucose to enter effectively.
Here are some FAQs I just want to ask. Why must I inject insulin? Why can't I just swallow it?
Well, I said that insulin is a chemical, but importantly, if you go into detail, insulin is a protein. And so you can't take it to digest. So we put insulin directly under your skin, which by an injection, and the blood flows everywhere, and the blood carries it into the system for it to do its work. It cannot be swallowed. A few years ago, something came up, and I think it's still in the works. I'm sure sooner than later they will find a formulation that is not easily digestible, and we'll all be happy for that.
Somebody says, I don't eat sugar. Why do I have diabetes?
Well, we've also discussed that already. Diabetes is not caused by eating sugar. You have a problem with sugar because your insulin is not working well. If you had enough insulin, no matter how much sugar you ate, insulin should be able to carry it across. However, if you are at risk, say you have a family history, and you keep eating a lot of sugar, then you give your body too much work. Your body is under a lot of pressure to produce high levels of insulin. And at a point, it will just, reach its limit and break down, and then you will have diabetes. But it doesn't directly cause, sugar doesn't directly cause diabetes.
While the tests for diabetes are very many that you can tell us about, my question to you is, what should people see that should let them suspect that they need to talk to a doctor about diabetes? So what are some of the physical evidences in my body that will let me know that, hey, I should go and check? You get my question?
I get it. So what we call signs and symptoms, for example. So the common presentation will be when your sugar levels goes very high, you start urinating a lot.
Okay.
Especially at night. I have, a few days ago, just before Christmas, I had a patient come to me who said, last night I woke up 12 times. So you wake up exhausted.
Times.
Yes. He just goes, walks back, falls asleep, and before he can. Yes. So they urinate a lot. And because they are urinating a lot, they drink a lot.
Why are they urinating a lot?
You are urinating a lot because the sugar in your blood now goes into your urine. And
it's not being absorbed.
It's not being absorbed. It spills over into your urine.
So you have more urine.
And it draws water with it.
So it's dehydrating you.
And so they drink water. But what you think is that because I'm drinking water, I'm urinating. But it's very well possible that you are drinking water because you are urinating.
So the first sign is frequent urination. What other signs?
High blood sugar will cause frequent urination, drinking lots of water. You may feel weak because glucose is not going into the system. It's just being poured out. So there's general weakness and lethargy. I mean, you just don't feel right. Some people will start getting blurred vision. Others will get, what we call, in the past we used to call white. Females start getting white because there's a lot of sugar in the urine and, in that area. So you get a lot of white because the organisms also like sugar. They thrive in sugar. But this is for people who get high blood sugar, occurring very rapidly. In type 2 diabetes, it's such a slow process. And many patients with type 2 diabetes walk around and do not have any symptoms at all. So do not wait to get these symptoms before you go and test. If you're an adult above 40, and this is the beginning of a year, it's a good time to test or go and see your doctor and have yourself tested for diabetes and other, lifestyle disease, or, have a thorough medical checkup as part of your New Year's resolutions.
Start right with your health.
Start the year right.
For a sound mind, rest in a sound body, or something like that. There's something like that. So there's a National Diabetes Center. Is there a national, lifestyle disease center in Ghana, something like that?
I'm not aware of that.
There's nothing like that.
But I know generally years ago they tried to promote the wellness clinics in all the hospitals. So those will be there, the wellness clinics, yes.
It's amazing. I don't have a degree in diet in diabetes yet, but based on what you've taught me and what I've read, I'm knowing a lot about it. So thank you very much, Dr. Yakoba Tiase, for speaking to us on the Effective Living Series. This is just week 1, and week 1 is the physical preparation for the year. We've been talking in our 3rd episode about lifestyle diseases, zeroing in on type 2 diabetes, and essentially lifestyle, dieting, exercise, and all those things that we do can predispose or help reduce our risk factors. Thank you for talking to us. My name is Bernard Avle. Thank you for watching. We'll be back with another exciting episode next time. Bye-bye.
Don't you know, you're beautiful.
So that was Bernard Avle.
Let God love inside. It's your life, it's your life.
Speaking
Got to live it right.
on lifestyle diseases with Dr. Yakoba Tiase, who's a lecturer, senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Medical School and head of the National Diabetes Management and Research Center. We're talking understanding lifestyle diseases on day 3 of our Effective Living Series 2023. The Effective Living Series is brought to us by Enterprise Insurance. Enterprise, your advantage.
Don't let them bring you down, no.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Fine, anyone can become a house owner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, anyone. Whether market woman, student, professional, even fisherman or cobbler. YouGoFlip, a real estate gaming platform that allows you to play and stand the chance of winning a house, cash, or other prizes, such as savings towards the house. Simple and easy to play. Visit www.yougoflip.com. Buy a ticket to enter the game. Wait for the end of the game to enjoy the win. Anyone can win. Contact us on 0555222490. YouGoFlip. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Play responsibly, not for persons below 18 years, and gaming can be addictive.
Like everyone else, people living with sickle cell disease get dressed and go to work. While some of us are delayed by traffic and chores, excruciating pain from sickle cell disease can also cause delays and lead to the hospital. This can sometimes make it difficult for a sickle cell patient to keep a job, but having an empathetic employer makes all the difference. That is why the International Sickle Cell Center and Airtel Tigo are pushing the Touching Lives initiative to raise awareness. My name is Dr. Mary Ansel. Support someone with sickle cell disease today. To learn more, visit www.iacc.international.
This initiative is brought to you by the International Sickle Cell Center, ISCC, in partnership with Airtel Tigo Touching Lives.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Hey, are you worried about your parties, weddings, hangouts, on what drink to enjoy for the celebration? Or you're worried about how to celebrate your friends and family during that special occasion? Bigo. Now that is Bigo. With Bigo, no wahala for the occasion. They made it for everyone to enjoy and have the ideal celebration. Bigo, the soft drinks that comes in 16 and 20 in a pack. Hey, Charlie, that is Bigo. A lot to go around in various packs. It's refreshing and good quality. Now that is Bigo. The taste is Bigo. Another quality product from Twillium Industries Limited. This advert is FDA approved. Bigo.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Citi Breakfast Show. Rexomar with the song Abiba. The song came out, Charlie. So when did the song come out? 98, I think.
I was in that funeral when the song came out.
98, I think, Charlie. But the song is still fresh.
Oh, yeah.
Still fresh.
Close to Hotel Vicabamba. So when they drop it inside the dance bomber, you hear it, Charlie. I'll be back, Charlie. I'll be back, Holo. Everybody is there. I'll be back. You move to one side like that. So that's big game at the time. So you move like that.
Then you move like
this. You know, like you move like I'll be back, Charlie.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, Rexoma be that too.
Rexoma be that too. You know, they get all that.
Powerful.
We'll try and go through some of your messages that have come in on
the people have updated the page, their page, Bank of Ghana.
Hey.
And it's now 8.58 and 8.59. Buying at 8.58 and selling at 8.59.
That's what? 8 point what?
8.58 they are buying. 8.59 they are selling. It's Ghana cedis to the dollar. It means that it's gone up marginally.
8.58.
Yes, it's gone up marginally.
8.5 what?
8.59.
Okay.
It's gone up marginally.
Interesting. So, but like these are this from the Bank of Ghana. So these are the average rates they have given.
And that's from yesterday.
Okay, from yesterday. So like we have been educated this morning, it would mean that the banks and the forex bureaus will also try and work their own math. I'm sure when you go there, the
whole thing is just
operating
annoying,
in a different realm. You make slow, Charlie.
Yeah, because you see, you know the impact on you. You know, it's severe. It's severe. You know, the government would have to do something about the situation. The people managing the fiscal space and then the monetary policy, whatever it is, they will have to do something about it, because really it's hurting families so badly. It's hurting families so badly, and it's not the best way to run an economy. It's not good. It's not good. I don't know whether somebody is hoarding the thing and blah blah. It's challenge.
He's hoarding it.
I make slow.
Charlie, it go be. But that's what I can only encourage you that, Charlie.
It will be, yeah.
That
I mean, yeah. Charlie, we all saw that this was going down, right? It was supposed to be going down. Came to around 7. They published, so they were selling around 8. Now, 8.5. And then they are selling. Some people are selling at 12. I mean, look at the gap. And the explanation Joe gave, I mean, yes, but there's so much that we have not been given as an explanation for.
Okay, like what?
I don't understand
the
why.
differences.
Yeah,
but here, Joy has.
And somebody was saying that the banks also buy their dollars from some other people.
So now we have
not always from the central bank, and so that may well account for it. So if they go buy it,
if they buy it at a certain price, which may not be the Bank of Ghana price, of course, once they are looking for profit, they'll also add a few coins here and there. But essentially, like we heard from Joe Jackson, a lot of these things happen just to make room for the volatility. Remember what was happening with the fuel prices? Now the OMCs and things were speculating forwards. You understand? So they are going to buy the product. They don't even know how much it will be sold for. So even before all of this happens, they already have an idea of a certain price, just to make up for differences in terms of exchange rates and all of that as they are going to buy and before they bring it back into the country. I understand you. It's not probably the fairest of things to do, but businesses will do what they have to do.
Yeah, but if the rate is 8.5, at least if it is 9, it's cool. At least you are making maybe 10 max. Or 9.5. That's fair. But people are still doing 12, 11, 13 in extreme 14.
I just think there's a lot that happens in that space that the public just still doesn't understand. And I think that's where all this is coming from, especially because, like saying, everybody will look at the BOG rate and say, okay, that's what's supposed to happen. But then for most people who deal, in other forms, they'll tell you, well, I'm getting this at this rate. So let's see what the first quarter brings. Let's see what the first quarter brings. I know you are worried.
Because, the
people are calling you. The people are calling you.
Phones are calling you.
Please turn your phone off. Tell them they should look at BOG.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. You must also...
Let's look at BOG for you. But speaking of which, just quickly to wrap things up, the president has been busy, doing his donations on the National Cathedral, which will be built, and a whole lot of activities.
Yeah, and he didn't deliver his New Year's message.
Yeah, we didn't hear from him on the New Year's, like the way in the form that we normally expect to hear from him.
Yeah, that's right, and it's been the tradition, for quite some time now that New Year's message will come in from the presidency, and for some reason, we don't have any explanation as to what may or may not have informed what would seem to be a decision not to deliver the address. So I think we have to interrogate that. But you were on a trajectory.
Yeah. So it looks like quite a few stories regarding that starting from Monday about that. So he made a donation of 100,000.
Yeah, 100,000 in support of his dream project.
He's also asked the churches to contribute to that. If he can get the churches to contribute, we don't have a problem there. You understand? If it is the churches, they will get to contribute.
But the churches, where do they get them? They get the money from...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That means the churches are convincing their congregants. But that it comes from taxes, that's what that one there. That is where... No. That's what that one there. Every time he mentions it, we will mention it. And that's what the tax is there. So if now the appeal is to the churches to get congregants to contribute to build, because now they are saying if every church member is to pay like 100 cedis or something, that for every month the thing will get done. But they will tell you also that they have their own projects that they are unable to complete in their own churches.
Yeah, but then they should do two different sets of collection.
But the other one, when I find time, I'll get into is the business model that is supposed to bring $95 million every year or in the first 5 years
for the church.
For the scene.
Garden, restaurant.
I knew. You see, they said it has been presented to Parliament. They said the business model has been presented to Parliament. So I will interrogate this through Parliament. They have to ask some questions when the thing appears there.
Well, is it that you don't think that that facility would command that much value as to attract people from around the world? Because mind you, we have a rock or stone from Israel buried under something, You don't think people will follow that and say, "Oh, let me see the church built on the rock of."
We might get some traffic. As to the level of traffic we will get,
whether
it will warrant this kind of. It's my concern, because they are saying there will be event centers, they'll rent. I can get all that, So obviously, you're moving traffic there, okay, for all kinds of things. But I'm still looking anyway. Who am I?
Hey, Baba.
Interested in figuring out the business plan. Yeah, I'm serious. No, they said they presented it to Parliament. No problem. So we wait to see what Parliament will tell all of us. and then we'll wait to see how the proposed $95 million or so will be made every year. Because Charlie, if we are spending all this money, all of this to the point where Parliament even had to kick against adding more money to the kitty, and we say, well, look, I'm curious. I'd like to know the
yeah, I'm also curious as to where the certainty is coming from. If we are unable to, generate that from some of the monuments we have here that we're unable to even look after properly and all that, to say, okay, we are now basically saying we are now investing in a new tourist site. That's also fine, So because we all know tourism does what it does. But I'm just saying I would love to understand this model properly from what they are saying. But as for the taxpayer money, we have not changed. We will not use taxpayer money.
In the meantime, the president should reshuffle his government. Reshuffle.
It's supposed to happen, right?
Yeah.
No,
tomorrow we need to do that. We need to do a list of ministers who
need to be reshuffled.
Yes.
I think 2 years to go, have it up and reshuffle. Last spent 6 years doing that.
All right, that's our breakfast show for the morning. I did this with Godfred Akotoba for Richard De La Sky. Show produced by Fred Jabano and Caleb Kuda.
Look who's here. In 2023, in 2022, how I was broke auntie. But in 2023, she says things will change. I feel way and I feel. So her status will change from broke auntie to rich auntie.
Broke.
How welcome.
Council.
Yeah.
You allowed this?
Oh no! Fair.
Officer of the law court.
No, it's actually fair comment.
Officer of the law court.
And the truth is defense for defamation. So,
happy 2023,
Godfred, God is watching you.
All right, how Idris is here with the news at 10 after that. It's your Kwaku.
I need to find me a new lawyer.
Sure.
I think Salom. Yeah, Salom will do a good
you
job.
Speak to Salom and
yes,
see
please,
if
because
he'll help you.
this defamation of character, not in 2023.
Okay, you tell us what's in the news first.
Well, the Office of the Special Prosecutor says it will soon come out with its report on the investigation into allegations of the use of public office for